One, let's jam.
We're live on the internet.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Sorry we got a late start, but we are here. We are back. It's less of a late start than we've been getting, which has been not starting at all. So
It's
2 weeks in a
Kirkland's
row.
fault.
It was not my fault, as it turns out. It was entirely
Kirkland's fault.
Lindsey's fault.
Nope, Kirkland's fault.
Let's not point
true.
fingers.
Not true.
Let's instead get to some channel announcements while I do some vocal warm-ups to get ready for this recap. Is that the channel announcements?
Oh shit! I was reading the chat saying that they love Rose's hair. Channel announcements. Next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. This coming Wednesday. We're not doing any games whatsoever. We're gonna take the night off, I think, and maybe I'll stream some video games or something in place of that. Who knows, right? I don't even know what's happening half the time. But yeah, Wednesday, everyone's gonna take the night off. They can do whatever they want to do on Wednesdays. Not stay up so late. Lately. Also, Thursday, we also might be taking the night off. I have yet to decide yet. If not, it'll probably just be a rerun of last week's Shadows over Ravenloft episode. They got really stretched out in the aspect ratio. So shout out to me for not doing that right. So I'll probably just doing a rerun. If not, maybe a really stupid one-shot. Oh my god. I just had an idea. Anyways, so yeah. That's it for announcements. Not many games happening next week, but I imagine hopefully everything on Sunday falls into place and is still there. Also, if you like podcasts, you can check out Mimics and Monstrosities on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and listen up to the latest episode of Beneath the Tide, which is an hour and 19 minutes long, because my ISP sucks right now, and they're having they're having difficulties with their internet speeds for the last week and a half, so it's been good times. So yeah. And then maybe more demystifying DMing in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Not even me.
And that's it for announcements, I think.
All right. Are we ready to get into this recap, everyone?
We are.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Chat, are you buckled in for the recap? Okay, here we go. Ahem. Whew. All right. What's good, fam? We're back with some more Soldiers of the Lich Bitch. Last episode, we opened up on the Disaster Siblings getting all sick, nasty, savage with some aarakocra bandits. Or aarakocra bandits. Well, the one time it's actually spelled right in this entire thing, I actually pronounced it incorrectly. Well, that's how we're starting today. Anyway, Hannibal started off the encounter by firing off some actual fucking fire at one of the beeple. That's bird people for the uninitiated. The aarakocras proceeded to lob some javelins, knocking Hannah Powerhouse down to half hit points before Drew leveled the playing field with some thorn whippy goodness, bringing one of the aarakocsuckers down enough for Sid to vibe check with a spirit throw. With 2 people left, Ilvem donned their icy wifey armor and inspired Hannah the Hulk to absolutely body one of the people with his ray of down with the sickness, fearing for their rancid vibes. The last person, that's bird person for the uninitiated, takes the skies. But Drew, the bell doesn't dismiss you, I do, last name, brings their bitch ass down with an ice knife. Initiative ends. Onward to an interrogation. Everyone realizes that one of the aarakocks is still breathing. For those who aren't reading this, caulk in this instance is spelled C-A-U-L-K, which is a type of waterproof filter and sealant, such as oakum spelled oakum. Alexa, play the Reading Rainbow theme song. Anyway, Ilvem brings the bird bandit back to life, and Hannah Beefy finds out their name is Gurk before promptly bodying them. After some looting, the group falls in line with Hannah Burley's plan to approach the bandits' hideout as captives of Gurk, who is really just Hannah ripped in disguise. The deception goes off without a hitch, and by without a hitch, I mean the party goes in the hideout easy peasy lemon steezy, and then everyone's stress sweats for the rest of the game. The party is introduced to the bandit leader, an Etten named Zot and Mundo, who decide that they will Hulk smash Drew while Gurk kills Sid in a way which is both private and mildly concerning. But wait, you cry out, what about Ilvem? No need to worry, dear viewer. Ilvem, anything you can do, I can do better. Last name came out on top in a battle of the bands against Zot and Mundo's Goblin Bard Zelki, thus securing himself a great seat to watch Drew Houdini her way out of death by transforming into a spider last minute. Meanwhile, Sid and Hannibal, I'm the Tank last name, find themselves doing battle with an aarakocra in cursed armor because ball sacks. Sid's astral arms prove useless against the cursed armor, and he takes up the defensive, becoming a finely tenderized meat shield, deflecting arrows and taking javelin pot shots, while Drew and Hannah Beachbod take turns cooking the aarakocra alive. As the battle starts to destroy the hideout and the rest of the bandits begin to flee, and Ilvem, I'm the tank last name, 1v2 Zot and Mundo, after turning into a zombie because that's what cursed armor do, the cursed aarakocra, formerly known as Vander, finally follows it with a beautiful bap from Drew, I'm the tank last name, and Sid makes it to Ilvem just in time to see them knocked unconscious, press F to pay respects. With no way to heal Ilvem, Sid does the only thing he knows how to do and screams for Drew as he kneecaps Zot and Mundo with his astral arms. Drew comes running and has half of her health fucking yeeted before she gets Ilvem back on their feet to Eldritch Blast their would-be killer to Kingdom Come. Enter stage right, a fucking dragon. Zenvaranth cooks the rest of the Era Diversifier Stokras, and combat comes to an end. After looting the bandit hideout, the party gives the base and all its gold to Zenvaranth, and the group loads all the bandits' stolen magical goodies into their bag of holding, except for an unidentifiable ring and a circlet of blasting, which Hannah yoked dons with little concern for his personal safety. Cue the emotional growth episode. No funny names can save you now. The group splits up for the night, with Sid and Ilvem playing the game of secrets outside Zenvaranth's new home. Ilvem reveals their life in the gift compound wasn't all that different from their life before, and a teary-eyed Sid admits that watching Ilvem almost die scared the shit out of him. The pair share a heartful hug, and night settles as the entire party seeks comfort from the battle in their own ways, with Ilvem playing soft flute music, Sid keeping watch over the people he's come to care for, Drew giving scritches to her fox friend Willow, and Hannibal putting on the fucking cursed armor? What the fuck, Justin? Also, Drew gave Willow the necklace, which is supposed to hide her from the people who sent a suit of armor after her, because nothing is sacred, I guess. The next morning, Sid proves that his heart is as strong as muscle by absolutely ripping into his brother for putting on the cursed armor, telling him that he doesn't need to risk his life to be useful to the party. Sid makes Hannibal prove that he can take off the armor, and Hannibal promises to let him know if things start heading south. Drew and Ilvem then follow Sid into the woods, where he tries to get his emotions out by punching trees. Drew calms Sid down and tells him to go let go of his anger and choose to be a better person than his father before leaving him to meditate in peace. Drew then has a heart-to-heart with Hannibal, who reveals that he doesn't feel like he has a place in the group, and he just wants to be able to protect Drew. Ilvem calls Hannibal selfish before storming off, and Drew tells Hannibal that she trusts he knows what he's doing. After some sun salutations and a bit more packing, the party sets off for Pyre. Now let's play some D&D. That was a long one.
You did so good. I'm so proud.
Thank you.
Damn.
Era diversify your stock risk.
That was a good one. That was
That was
my
a good
favorite.
one.
Truly inspired.
Thank you again to Lindsey for writing the recap. Okay. Who's DMing this thing? Oh, right, me. All right.
I will. We all defeat Mr. G and have a happy ending. Goodbye.
Nice.
Anyway. That took a lot of energy to calm myself down. All right. We're in a somber mood. So, you've all just left the bandit hideout that you've just turned into Zenvaranth's new lair, and have begun walking down the road. Willow left because Zenvaranth took off to go on a morning hunt, and Willow was like, nope, that's a dragon. So, Willow is around somewhere, and everybody else is kind of just like has been walking down through the woods back towards the road to make their way in the direction of Pyre. And the main visual difference here is that Hannibal is wearing as mentioned in the recap, horrifying cursed armor that is all like black and carapace-y and insectoid looking and kind of looks terrifying, mitigated a little bit by the fact that it's got a bowler hat on top of it right now. And yeah, as you're all walking down the road and starting to make your way back towards in the direction of Pyre, which is like a 2-day walk. A little bit into your walk, you do very, very far on the distance sky see gathering dark clouds and hear a very distant rumble of thunder from a distance.
Fuck.
What time of day is it when this happens?
It is morning, so y'all just got up.
Still?
Yeah, y'all just got up. It took you not terribly long to walk down. Now that you knew where you were going, it was a little bit of a rough walk, just kind of walking through woods with no paths or anything, just wild open woods. But Drusilla was very helpful in guiding everyone through that.
On the bright side, at least I won't get wet in this.
Sid's just gonna kind of like wordlessly take the sort of like scarf thing around his neck and sort of lift it up
Mm-hmm.
like over his head and just keep
Makeshift hood?
walking. Yeah, makeshift.
Okay.
hood.
Okay. So y'all are walking along. This is you. It's not terribly long, but it's like a couple of hours before you get back to the main road. If you remember, there's the like huge main road kind of highway that runs the full length of like several nations that connecting the Arclight Covenant, which is what you're on, or what you were on. The road towards the bandits kind of was like a branching side path, but you eventually come back after a couple hours and rejoin the main highway road, which pretty much signals a generally uneventful, or will signal a generally uneventful travel, because this is an incredibly well-traveled, wide open, well-maintained road. So being like the main major thoroughfare of several, like a multinational covenant of nations, it's tends to be fairly safe. So the rest of your day is fairly uneventful, walking along. You know, possibly some awkward silence as y'all get sneak glances over at Hannibal, who is just happily walking along in armor that makes him look like an anime villain.
Drusilla is walking right beside Hannibal.
Ilvem is walking very just like storming up a front.
Sid's walking next to Ilvem.
All right. Over the course of your day of walking, you pass by, you see a couple people on the road. You see some mostly farmers, people with carts and wagons, carrying goods, some vegetables, some things that they've harvested. Others appear to be, one wagon of someone just like appearing to just be moving their family, just a bunch of furniture and stuff piled up on top of a wagon. Off in the distance, as you come up to like a wide open set of fields, you can see a like herd of sheep being shepherded along by someone and their dog, just like, going about their business. And all the while, as you're walking, you can just hear that distant rumbling getting closer and closer as the skies gradually darken from the south. And over the course of your day, it looks like it's approaching slowly enough that you're not going to have to really walk in it too much. But it's Drusilla, you're given your experience with nature and living outside, you would probably be able to tell that it's going to arrive, that the storm is going to arrive sometime around nightfall. And the more you watch it, the more you see it approaching from a distance, the more you can tell this is going to be a bad one. That is not a gentle that's not a gentle sprinkle coming in. That's some heavy winds of thunder and lightning and lots of rain. Sleeping outdoors tonight is probably not the best idea. You would guess.
For them. Yes.
Even for like, you would, if you were staying outside, right? Like if you were staying in the woods right now, like as soon as you knew that information, you probably would have like prioritized finding sturdy shelters, finding or building sturdy shelter for yourself.
And I can imagine sleeping in this armor wouldn't be good in a rainstorm either. Ping, 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 ping.
Knowing that Drew's gonna go up to Sid and just be like, we need to find shelter before nightfall.
That then, I assume you'll take point because you're better with the woods. How do you want me to help?
I don't know if the woods will be the best option. Unless we build something to block out the rain.
We could try to find a cave of some kind.
Didn't we spend the first night in a cave?
It was less a cave and more just kind of like a shallow outcropping. It was like probably about this much of an angle, so it provided a little bit of a shelter, but you're going to guess this is going to be one of those nights where it's going to be raining sideways. So
Okay.
It's raining sideways.
On our walk, were there any like houses?
So you're walking along a significant stretch of road. So like over the course of the day, you're passing. You can see like dotted across the landscape, like farming communities, towns, and villages and stuff. So you are passing by. Like it's not just straight wilderness this entire walk.
Okay. Well, do you want to try to find a cave somewhere in the woods, or do you want to try to acquire shelter in a house?
I think, given the certain state that some of us are looking, gesture back at Hannibal, it might be a bit difficult to find a home of someone to open up to us. So a cave might be best if Ilvem's fine with the cave.
I can't even begin to describe how not fine I am with a cave.
I have our sleeping blankets so in the bag of holding.
But I mean, if it's a cave or nothing, it's gonna have to be a cave, I guess.
Sid's just gonna kind of like put his hand on your shoulder and give it a squeeze. It's just for the night. I'll make sure that it's as comfortable as possible.
It's not gonna be very comfortable.
Just imagine how
good for
nice
you.
it'll be to be back at the Onyx Cat after this.
I might never leave the city again.
And you would be completely valid. All right, Drew, what do you want to do? How can I help?
To look for a cave would be the best course of action while we still have the good weather. You can help me look, or you can stay and watch Hannibal.
I mean, I'm down to help you look.
All right. Ilvem, will you watch Hannibal?
You like Hannibal? Yeah, I'll watch Hannibal.
I hear Mads Mikkelsen is excellent in it.
He is.
He is. My
MSP
God.
is.
Okay, so Drusilla and Sid are gonna kind of scout around to try and find a cave.
Yeah.
Okay. The landscape is pretty. You're coming into more flatland and like farmland at this point, so it's going to be not impossible, but difficult. Like probably difficult to find caves. It's not a very cave-filled area, but you think it's possible. Just going to be difficult. So
I think
sorry.
the plan would be to canvas out a little bit. Like I
Mhm.
can be within 120 feet of Drew and just cast message like back and forth. So probably spread out a little bit more rather than just like going off in a group.
Okay. So I will either say that both of you can make a survival check, or one of you can while the other assists.
What's my survival? Probably not good. I'll go ahead and slide that assist your way, Drew.
Fair. Fair. So, survival with advantage. Let's fucking do this. That is a dirty 20.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
So, you're searching around, and eventually, you manage to find. So you're searching around, you're looking, you're having a hard time finding anything, and then Sid like goes up to the top of this hill, probably about like a 15-20 foot high hill, not a huge peak, and is kind of just like standing up there and looking around. And Sid eventually, like you pretty much, you're ready to give up, and probably call Drusilla over to discuss the idea of future different plans, as like the winds have started to pick up, it started to get darker, started to get a lot colder, you can smell moisture in the air, And Sid calls Drusilla over, and Drusilla, you walk up the front side. Like, Sid came up the back side of the hill. Drusilla comes up the front side of the hill. And what you see directly underneath Sid's feet, basically, on the front face of the hill that he's not looking at, is the old, like, wooden framed entrance to an abandoned mine shaft.
You found it. Good job.
What? Oh yeah, I definitely found this.
Good job.
Thank you. I tried my best.
You did really good.
And Drusilla, you had like narrowed down this area. You'd been like considering geographical features and everything, and been like, okay, narrow it down. If we're gonna be looking, it should be in this area. And then that's what allowed Sid to like stumble onto this.
I'll stay here if you want to go get Ilvem and Hannibal.
Okay, sounds good. And Sid will set off to go get Ilvem and Hannibal.
Okay. All right. The other two are probably like making their way along on the road. You can come out from. It's pretty much just like an open grassland in that direction. Like it's a little bit of woods around it, but then for the most part, just like tall prairie grass between the edge of the woods and the road. So you can just kind of like emerge.
Do you know 2005 Pride and Prejudice? The ending where Mr. Darcy walks out of the mist in like that field of grass. That's Sid.
Okay.
That's the vibes we're going for.
Okay.
And then he's just gonna send a message to Ilvem once he's in eyeline. So we found a place.
Great. I'll come meet you, I guess. And I'll just start walking towards Sid.
Okay. Hannibal Ilvem just like takes a right turn off the road and just starts walking into the grass.
I follow.
Okay. All right. So y'all make your way over. Drusilla's kind of hanging out over by the entrance of this mine shaft. You can see old, worn paths in the ground that have begun to be overgrown. But your experienced eye can definitely tell. It would be hard for someone who wasn't looking for them to see them, but you can definitely tell the disturbance of, the intervention of civilization in nature, and see like the worn paths of where activity used to come in and out of this mine. And probably there, like within a short distance, there's either an abandoned village or a still continuing to function village that's like moved on from whatever industry this mine used to produce. And then eventually your 3 party members emerge out of the woods coming towards you, and you can all see, this like on just a kind of like almost like a shallow cliff face, just where the land kind of slopes up and then drops off. There's just a board-in section held up by old wooden buttresses that appears to be sheltered from the wind and rain.
Chance
A
to.
mine shaft.
It's better than a cave.
Is it?
Better than getting soaked out in the night.
Definitely true. Did you get a chance to check it out yet?
Yeah. I don't think we'll be disturbed.
Okay. Well, Sid's gonna like go up to the entrance and sort of like gesture for everyone else to go in.
I'll go in grumpily.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you all make your way inside. You can see that it slopes down a bit and then continues, like the main tunnel continues forward, but then there's a branching path off to the side. And Drusilla, you can tell that most likely based on the way the land is shaped, like water is gonna end up like trickling in along the floor. But if you take that side path and continue along, it's gonna take you out of the path of the running water, and it should probably stay dry.
She will relay that information.
I'll respond with, "This is a lovely place in Infernal."
Does anyone speak Infernal?
That's a very good question.
Drew doesn't.
I know the opposite. I know celestial.
I also only know Celestial.
Do I know Celestial? I don't.
Does
Outcast here.
he may not understand it, but does he know what infernal is?
Roll me a religion check to see if you can identify infernal from hearing it.
Big money, no whammies. That's a natural 20.
Yeah, that is definitely infernal. In fact, you've read enough, like you've had to do maybe a little bit of translating in your studies, not enough to like understand, like completely know infernal, but kind of one of those things where like, those people were like, I know a couple of phrases in French. You're there with infernal. And so like you can like get the gist, like get a vague gist of what Hannibal is saying.
Sid's just gonna completely ignore him and walk around that corner and start setting up a bit of a camp for everyone.
Okay. Yeah, you can see this place is pretty much abandoned. There's like a few places where there's like a wooden floor set up where it's a little more uneven and rocky, just to make it flatter. It's hard to tell exactly what used to be mined here. The walls are all chipped away and rough and clearly have been worn down and dug through to the point of there's clearly nothing left here. This place has been stripped bare. And you can all start setting up your camp as you can hear the wind like whistling across the mouth of the cave and the trees outside beginning to rustle and move as things pick up.
Set up a little.
I love this dog. I love that dog.
Love Pupper.
Yeah. That's Moloch.
Definitely, yes. Just gonna set up like a little fire and stuff. Start getting out rations, have a little snack.
Okay. All right. You all sit down for a nice dinner of rations. You set up the fire in a way. Drusilla helps make sure you set up the fire in a way that like the entrance will act as a natural chimney and it won't just like suffocate you all with smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Hannibal's gonna start taking off the armor so he can actually eat.
Okay. So Hannibal begins removing the armor. It's almost like clasps down the neck and back, and they open quickly and easily as if they were like freshly made and oiled.
And right in the bag of holding when it's off.
Okay. All right. I'll have a nice dinner, eat some rations, see Hannibal's face for the first time today. It looks normal.
See, everything is fine, everybody.
Is fine, everybody.
What is your problem?
What is your problem?
I don't have a problem. But it
You
seems
literally
like you do.
always have a problem. You are the mopiest bitch I have ever met in my life.
Oh, that's rich coming from you.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. I do my absolute damnedest to be the happiest, most jovial bitch anybody has ever met, just to try to combat the absolutely depressing dark cloud you both constantly have hanging over your heads.
We didn't ask for that.
And it happened anyways.
A lot of things happened that we didn't mean for it.
This sort of reminds me of the children at the academy, or wherever the fuck I was at. The Enclave, that's the word. Enclave.
There were no children of the Enclave.
We were the children.
You were the children of the Enclave.
I understand.
Whatever. I'm going to bed.
Good.
Good.
You know, Drew,
What?
after some reflection and thinking, and coming to terms with things. I miss Reggie. You know?
Yeah.
I wonder what happened. We never found out.
Oh, whatever happened, happened. We can't change that.
Maybe Aja found him?
You'd think she would have come back if she found him.
Maybe.
If they cared about us, she would have.
Maybe. Oh well.
Oh well.
All right, so
Go to
laying.
sleep, Hannibal.
Pardon?
Go to sleep, Hannibal.
I can't sleep anymore. It doesn't work.
Well, then lay down and close your eyes.
Okay. And I'm gonna just go to sleep.
Okay. You're all woken at some point, like you're all like dozing off to sleep and fall, like, you know, getting into that relaxed state when just you're suddenly jolted awake by just a outside from just a massive peal of thunder. It sounds very nearby and possibly was actually a lightning strike. But as the sound fades, you can just hear the whipping of the wind and the pouring of the rain. And it just goes back to being quiet, and you can all, your heart's pounding in your chest from the sudden loud noise waking you up, can all just eventually start drifting off back to sleep.
Sid's actually going to stay up for a bit.
Okay.
And take out his calligraphy supplies and start writing a few different letters of varying purposes.
Okay.
And that is what I will say about that.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, secrets.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
So is Sid keeping? Are you keeping a watch then? Are you doing a watch
Mhm.
rotation? Okay. So
Yeah.
Sid on first watch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sit up, writing letters as you listen to the huge thunderstorm outside. And then who's on second?
Drew.
Okay. All right. So you swap off. Drew, you sit up, listen to the rain. Reminds you of your time growing up in the woods. Here, it's been a while since you heard a thunderstorm like this. Mostly at the Enclave where you were, it wasn't like huge thunderstorms. It was just a lot. It was a lot of rain, but it was just very steady, straight downpours. Not a lot of like dramatic thunderstorms like this one.
She loves this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
As they trade off, Sid's just kind of like getting ready and like laying down for bed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to be like, I'm not usually good at giving advice on these things, but perhaps you should consider taking some of your own about being better. And then he's just going to go to bed.
Okay. Drusilla, you're sitting up and I don't know, what is Drusilla doing on her watch?
she is sitting at, so there's the main way in and then we turned off.
Mm-hmm.
So she's sitting at that intersection,
Okay.
just watching.
Okay. Yeah, there's like, it's very, very dark. Whatever little bit of moonlight is managing to like glow through the clouds is illuminating that slope from outside, and probably whatever's left of your fire is as well from behind you. So you can see like the glistening of water just running down in like almost a little creek coming from the mouth of the mine shaft and running down deeper into that section that you aren't sleeping in. Just kind of trickling down. And you sit there and just kind of hang out for a bit, and you're watching that and listening to the sound of water. But then, fairly distantly, you can hear from outside somewhere. You can just hear a fairly consistent ding, 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 of a distant ringing bell. Sounds not like a small one, like a fairly sizable bell that's ringing consistently.
She's gonna go to the mouth of the mine shaft and see if she can get any direction of where it's coming from.
Okay. You get up to the mouth of the mine shaft, and immediately, like as you get closer, it's like water's just spraying in from the entrance. But as you get up and get up to that entrance, and to see the trees are just waving and creaking in the wind as it blows around. That sound does cut through all the noise fairly well, and it seems like it's coming from kind of forward and to your right, basically the direction that the worn old paths from this mine shaft used to go in. And you can hear other sounds along with it, but it's hard to pick them out through the wind. It's like you can definitely tell there's other sounds there. You can pick them out in between the changing directions of the gust of the winds and the pouring rain and everything, but it's hard to pick out exactly what they are. You can just tell there's something else there.
Drew's gonna go back to where she was sitting before and make a mental note of where that was coming from, and then just wait for everyone to wake up.
Okay. All right. And I continues. Who's got the next one, or do both of you just cover the entire night?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah.
You do. Okay. Oh, that's right. Because yes, both meditate for half the night. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, I can't. I don't trance.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I sleep like a normal person.
Mm-hmm. So do we have a third watch then?
I guess Hannibal.
Okay. So Drusilla, at some point, do you wake Hannibal up?
Yeah, Drew will go wake Hannibal up and just be like, there's bells coming from outside. We can check it out when the rain is done.
I bring Abacus back.
Okay.
Abacus can go check it out, and I can see through him.
And by all means.
I send Abacus in the direction that Drew told me.
All right. So, you can see through Abacus's eyes.
Yep.
At like any distance, right?
Yes.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just can't. Okay, so you can give him the command, just like follow that noise and see what there is.
Yep.
Okay. Abacus takes off flying. I'm gonna need an athletics check for Abacus really quick.
Oh, yes.
Windy.
Because of the wind. Let me pull up his stat block. He is just but a baby bat. 12 minus 4.
-4.
Yeah, bats have a -4 to strength.
Oof. What's the strength? Wait, what's the strength score on that exactly?
2.
Okay, I think we're gonna increase because you said because you picked like a flying fox for Abacus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just real quick. Let's see. What's the? Yeah, let's at least make Abacus like a 4 or a 5 on that strength.
So -3.
Yeah.
Okay. So that'd be 9.
Okay. Abacus takes off out of the cave, and it's like immediately getting buffeted around by the wind and having a hard time like having a hard time gaining altitude. Like as long as he's within the trees, basically, they're creating enough of a windbreak. But it's as soon as he tries to get up out of them that he gets like buffeted around and pushed back down.
Okay, maybe not. That's the best idea, and I'll pop him away.
Okay. Were you looking through his eyes and ears for that?
Yeah.
Okay. So he gets a bit further out of the cave and does get some altitude for a second though. So give me a perception check with Abacus's stats.
Yeah. Fabicus, where are you in my thing? Perception, that's wisdom.
And do bats have advantage on it? Would be hearing based, so.
Yeah. Cool. 13. Man.
Okay. Hard to say, but you can the ringing of the bell has definitely been, it's not as like is not as consistent as it was when Drusilla was awake, but it's still kind of going. And you definitely can hear, you can pick out voices, like shouting, frantic sounding voices coming from that direction as well. But that's that all you get before the wind pushes him back down.
So I'll pop him back to wherever he goes.
Okay, so he just vanishes.
If it doesn't sound like it's getting closer, I'm just gonna finish my watch.
It does not sound like it's getting closer, no.
All right. Nothing else for Hannibal then.
Okay, Hannibal finishes out the night, and you all wake up in the morning. It's still a little bit rainy, but it's the wind. It's just a little. It's kind of like very light rain, a little bit of wind. Thunder's died down. Light is streaming through.
Was that a Kool-Aid jammer?
Yeah.
I wish I had a Kool-Aid jammer. Damn.
The clouds have gone from like a roiling dark black to just kind of like a light gray as the morning lightens. And y'all wake up.
I'm gonna pack all my stuff up and then just kind of like go outside.
Okay.
And take like a few moments of reflection just to myself.
All right. You get outside and your boots kind of make like a in the wet
quietly mud. Under my breath, I'm gonna say, haha, this is what good pussy sounds like.
Ramon. Yeah, you get out and like you can see that there's a few like small sticks and stuff scattered on the ground, several larger branches that are like snapped and hanging by a thread off of trees, some fallen down. At a distance, you can even see one larger, older tree that was probably already dead that's like completely overturned and its roots are sticking up out of the ground.
Tight. I'm gonna go sit on that tree.
Okay. All right. Everybody else, you're awake in the morning?
Yep.
Try his best in this mine shaft to find a place where he can do some yoga.
Okay. Yeah, you can find a pretty good spot. It's pretty sizable in here.
I'm going to finish up what I can do every long rest and make another elixir.
Okay.
And that is randomly rolled for. The one I rolled for last night was a resilience potion. After our bandit stuff. This one-handed buff gets a... Oh, I get a different one if it's a duplicate. Potion of boldness. Cool. So yeah, I'll finish up like putting that in one of my flasks and then slip it in my bandolier.
Okay.
Is gonna pack up her stuff, see that Ilvem is gone, look at Sid and kind of be like, fine. And then follow Ilvem outside and just kind of still give them space, but like walk up to them.
Okay. Yeah, you can see Ilvem sitting on this overturned tree. These woods look a little fucked up. They are like that storm did some damage.
Good for her. We love that.
Yeah. Queen shit.
We stand.
Good morning.
Good morning. Did you sleep well?
Yeah, the mine shaft was cozier than I was expecting.
Good. I'm glad. Can I sit with you?
If you'd like.
I'm just gonna very awkwardly just sit beside Ilvem and just be like, I am sorry for the way I spoke to you last night.
Thanks. I'm sorry I called you a depressed bitch.
I mean,
I could have maybe said that nicer.
yeah, you could have.
Yeah.
She's just gonna sit there just mhm.
You're not very good with people, are you?
No. It has never been my strong suit.
Okay. Well, you want to make a deal?
What kind of deal?
A deal that'll benefit us both, I think.
Okay.
Okay. I am very good with people. So if you promise to let me know when I'm being just too much for you specifically, in like a nice way though, I promise to be your interpreter. I will be the person that does the people stuff for you, if you want.
Yeah. Sounds like a good deal.
All right, let's shake on it.
Yeah.
While Hannibal's in the mine shaft, can he find one that just goes straight down?
Like walking around through it, yeah. You could probably find a spot where it just goes straight down at one point. There was probably, looking around, you can see that there's probably some kind of lift or something that leads down to a lower section, but now it's just any mechanisms are just gone.
How far away am I from Sid?
That would take you a good distance away.
I'll be right back.
Hey. Sid's gonna watch him.
Yeah, he's not trying to be sneaky or anything. Pull the armor out of the bag of holding.
Mm-hmm.
And speak to himself kind of like, based on what I know. Not worth it, and just chuck it down the hole.
Okay. Ting, cling, clatter, clatter, cling, cling, ting, ting. And it falls and lands at the bottom.
Oh, I just had a thought that might not have been a good idea. No one will find it. It's whatever. At least I'm not. And I'll just go back and sit down.
Okay.
Did Sid watch this happen?
No, he specifically walked a distance away from Sid.
Oh, shit.
I had
Okay.
to get rid of something.
Okay. Well. All right. And Sid's gonna kind of like peek his head out to see that Ilvem and Drew are still outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like at this point now, like Ilvem is like openly cracking jokes, and like even if Drew's not laughing, is laughing. You know?
you is just sitting on the tree, her feet a little just like kicking because she's too short. Her little legs are just like, meh.
And then Sid's gonna like come back and sort of like sit/stand across from Hannibal and take out one of the letters that he wrote last night.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice, it's very pretty, very beautiful handwriting, and it just says like "Dear Hannibal" on it. So I had some thoughts last night, and I usually can get my thoughts out better through writing. So I decided to write this to you. You can read it by yourself, or I can read it to you, if that is what you would prefer. But this is for you.
You can read it to me if you'd like.
Whatever.
And then
I'm rolling 19 and I never look at
I cast Mage Hand and just pat Sid on the back. You can do it.
God.
This is
Okay.
precious.
Hold on. Let me pull this up. I wrote this at 5 o'clock in the morning.
We love that.
Okay. Love that from me.
We stand, as the kids say.
We stand. Okay. So.
I don't know what that means.
I'll explain it to you later.
So, I apologize if this is weird. Just let me get through this. It was the only way that I could sort of think through everything. Okay. Dear Hannibal, I want to apologize for how I treated you in regards to donning the armor. The threat of violence was not the best way to deal with the situation, and I offer my sincerest apologies. I don't agree with your actions, but I understand your reasoning behind them. I understand that you want to be useful. I understand that you want to be strong. I understand that you want to be better because that is what I want to be too. I'm sure that's what we all want to be. What I was trying to say yesterday was that you are magnificently intelligent. Our brief time together, I have seen you create marvels of biomechanomagical engineering. I've seen you summon fire with a flick of a wrist and hold back the most insurmountable of foes with a gust of wind. You've done things that I would never dream of doing, and if I'm honest with myself, a part of me may even envy your intelligence and your drive to create and experiment. Each day I see you do something else extraordinary, and I admit I feel privileged to see you thrive and learn and grow. However, what I wanted you to understand in regards to donning the armor is that while thus far nothing bad has occurred, that doesn't change the fact that something bad could have happened or is yet to happen. In your desire to be better and more useful, you were willing to sacrifice yourself and those around you. You saw what that armor did to that aarakocra. It could have easily transformed you into something you are not. It could have killed you or made you kill one of us. I may not be a scientist or a magician, but I've been where you have been. I have made decisions in the past with little regard for the possible negative outcomes. When I was young, I tried to prove that I was useful and better than I was led to believe. When I was young, I tried to prove that I was useful and better than I was led to believe by picking a fight with someone more skilled, more prepared, and powerful than myself. I lost that fight, and I nearly lost my life in the process. My desire to be useful made me useless. My desire to protect the ones I cared for almost took me away from them. I implore you to understand that you are not alone in your drives and desires. I think everyone in this group wants to be better in their own way, but wanting to be more useful doesn't make the current you useless. You are useful. Every challenge you've tackled thus far proves that. You are useful, Hannibal. You are powerful. You are a part of this group. You have worth. You have a place here, and you always will. I understand why you put on the armor. What I hope you understand is there are better ways to make yourself better. Your habit of throwing yourself into experiments with little regard to your personal safety and the safety of those around you is reckless. Your current actions are the actions of someone unworthy of your intellect. You are better than this. In the future, if you discover something that you believe will make you more powerful or more useful, we have options that won't put your life or the lives of the group on the line. I don't entirely understand how magic works, but I'm sure you could ask Master Varro or other scientists or magicians to examine these items first. Collecting more information before you experiment could save your life. I know our father probably taught you, as he taught me, that your life is not as important as the cause, that we are only what we were intended to be. You, an experiment, me, a soldier. I was fortunate enough in my youth to have someone tell me otherwise. I mourn that you did not have that person in your life, and I would like to be that person for you now. I care about you, Hannibal. I care about what happens to you, and I want you to know that your life is just as important as those around you, that your life is just as important as your cause. You are more than just an experiment. You are useful, you are worthy, you are intelligent, and you can be better without the risk of destroying yourself and those you care about in the process. I apologize for reacting in anger, and I aim to do better in the future. Long ago, I was taught that balance is the key to being your best self. I hope we both find that balance one day. Signed, Sid. And he's gonna fold up the letter and hand it to you.
I'll put it in the bag of holding. So how mad would you be if I told you I threw that armor down a mine shaft?
He's gonna go wide-eyed and like seem like he's gonna explode for a quick sec, and then sort of take a deep breath, and he's gonna walk forward and he's gonna hug you.
Okay. Doesn't hug back because it's uncomfortable for him.
It's very brief. He lets you go shortly after. How deep is the mine shaft?
It seemed pretty deep.
Is there any way we can get it back?
I don't think so, and I don't know if we should.
Well, I mean, if we leave it here, we risk someone else finding it.
That's fine. I don't know if I even want Master Varro having it, to be fair.
I mean, it is... Is it Master Varro's? Was it a part of the shipment?
I'm assuming so.
I understand why you did what you did. If we can get the armor back and deliver it to Master Varro, I think that would be the best course of action.
All right.
I like the sentiment, though.
Don't know why I did it. More trouble than it's worth, I think.
I think you know why you did it. And Sid's gonna turn around and walk out and address Drew and Ilvem. So, the armor's down a hole now, and we need to get it.
How
Okay.
deep is the hole?
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
seemed pretty deep. I took it off to urinate, and it fell.
Hey,
Are we gonna tie some rope? Lower somebody down or something?
I can.
Ow.
Let's go look at the mine shaft first. Hannibal,
Yes.
you could show us which one.
Yeah. And I'll lead them to it.
Oh, you're muted.
So I am. You lead them over to the mine shaft. And you can see it's like the water kind of runs down to it and then trickles down off the edge. This is kind of like where that path leads to. So you can hear it like dripping down the side and everything. And it's just dark straight down. It's hard to see the bottom.
Looks like climbing might be dangerous with the slippery slope.
The hole itself is probably only about like 6 or 7 feet wide too.
Are there any rocks around?
Like loose ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find one.
Okay, I'm gonna cast light on it and then drop it.
Okay. Falls for a good long while. Hard to tell exactly how far, but not a short distance. And eventually lands at the bottom, and you can see it like the light glinting off the edge of the armor.
Damn, that's a hole.
Ha!
Is everyone like leaning over the edge, kind of to like look and follow
Yeah.
the path of the rock?
Oh, Ilvem is for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hannibal, in
Uh-oh.
particular. Can you make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Yes. Oof. That should be fine.
Thank you so much. I love you.
That should be fine. That's a 10.
Okay. You're stepping forward and just like the muddy edge of the like where all this water has been running on, making it slick. Just like you lean forward and suddenly like you pitch forward in a way that just suddenly your foot just slides out from underneath you. But you manage to like lean back and catch yourself, or you like lean forward and like catch yourself on the wall. So you're basically leaning out over the pit, but you manage to like grab onto an outcropping of rock and hold on to yourself.
Everybody just stand back. Don't get too close.
However,
in
the moment as you're about to you were about to fall and you catch yourself, like as you catch yourself, you notice that the ring you put on has started to glow a dull orange, but as you catch yourself, it fades.
Oh boy. My brain is telling me to do one thing and my heart is telling me to do another. I think I know what this ring does.
What?
Can I try to determine what this ring might be? Just maybe an educated guess.
The information you have is the information you have.
So I think this ring was trying to help me if I fell. Prevent me from going splat, maybe? Let's find out, actually. Is there like a rock anywhere that I can stand on?
Like along the edge of...
No, not like just somewhere in the room I can clamber up on. That's nowhere near the pit.
Oh, you mean, yeah, like, I suppose, yeah, because it slopes down. You can find, like, there's one part where it, like, goes flat, so you can find, like, a 5-foot drop, yeah.
I'm gonna jump off and just face plant on the ground.
Okay. So you just basically belly flop onto the ground?
Yeah.
All right, so you jump forward and you belly flop. So you can feel like just a slight bit of warmth from the ring as this happens. It glows a dull orange again.
Yeah.
And everybody else can see like a very slight and very brief flash of orange underneath Hannibal as he hits the ground. There's a like splat as he hits, far more, like way more than there should have been. And like mud and water is just flung out in every direction forcefully and like splatters into all of you and the walls. And this is a very, very slight sizzling sound as some of the water underneath Hannibal like flash boils, and Hannibal, you like slam into it, but it's as if like something like it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Like you feel the jarring impact, but it does not hurt.
Immediately hop up. Oh, it worked. It worked. It worked. I was right.
I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation to get the mud off of me.
Yeah, you're all just standing there, just
Yeah.
Oh, apology. I didn't know that would happen. But on the bright side, if I jump down the hole, I won't get hurt.
But how are you going to get up?
Do we have enough rope? I have 50 feet. No.
Just on the
I
bright
don't
side,
think I have any.
if I fall, it'll be fine. I have 50 feet of hempen rope as well.
I also have that.
between all of you think you have enough based on looking down. You're like, we're not sure the exact type. 150 feet of rope should be plenty.
We just tie the rope together, put it down. I jump, get the armor, climb back up. Boop, 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 boop.
Really not hurt at all from that jump.
No, I feel fine. Like I face planted on the rock and stone, and I am fine.
Cool.
This is
All
me
right.
taking what you said into account. I tested it out first. No one was hurt. I feel quite fine jumping down this hole.
Okay. I trust that you'll be all right.
I just hope I don't hit the sides. Oh, well, I should be fine. Yes, I'll be fine. I take Moloch out of whatever
Mhm.
part of my coat he's in.
Yeah.
Give him to Drew. See you all on the other side. And I just step over the edge.
Okay.
Wait, did he give us his rope first?
Bad
Yes.
joke.
All right. So Hannibal steps off the mine shaft and begins to fall, and he falls into darkness. However, it's very, as you all look down after him, he's very easy to follow because as he falls about 10 feet, after about the first 10 feet, there a bright orange, like his feet basically begin to, whatever is his lowest point, basically, I'm guessing his feet, if he just stepped off, begins to glow orange with like the heat of re-entry, basically. Essentially, he begins to glow like a plummeting meteor.
Hell yeah.
With like a fiery trail coming up behind him. And as he plummets downward, the further he falls, the bigger and bigger and bigger it gets until he hits the bottom of the mine shaft and there is a fairly small but fairly potent looking burst of flame around him, and as like you hear the cracking of rocks and things just scattered and bouncing around from the impact. And Hannibal, you land and there's like a slight buckling to your knees, but it's like you just took a step off. Like it's like you just took a big step. It's not like you just fell however many dozens of feet you just plummeted.
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
All right, we're sending down the rope.
Excellent. And I'm going to look for the armor.
Okay. You find it a little ways down, like there's another tunnel ahead of you. It got like blasted back and like skittered along the rocks from that. And you manage to go over and find it. You can see it's a little bit charred from like the burst of flame and everything, but otherwise completely fine.
In the bag of holding.
Mm-hmm. You can see the light rock that Ilvem dropped down is like flickering a little bit because it's like chipped and broken and like ricocheted around the inside of the mine shaft a little bit. And yeah, you can see that like the walls around you are singed and blackened.
Oh, this ring is very fun. Imagine what I could get up to.
And then a rope comes down.
And I'll start climbing the rope with my buff arms.
Okay. Manage to get back up.
Everything's fine. I have the armor. I give Ilvem his rock, little broken stone back.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm gonna put it in a pocket.
Everything is fine. I have the armor.
Awesome. Okay, well, anything else that anybody needs to do before we set off again?
That reminds me, I need to put the armor back on. That's a joke.
Oh, curse you! You made Sid laugh.
Ah.
All right. Well then, let's get going, and Sid will head off back to the road.
I'll
Okay.
start playing one of my regular jaunty wonking tunes.
Okay.
I said all of those words very weirdly, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It all got like stuck in my upper palate for some reason.
You're good.
All right. So I'll walk along, get back to the road. You continue for a little while. You eventually get to the part where a river like comes up next to the road and then crosses over it, and there's a bridge that goes over. The bridge is like the water on your way over. There was like a good distance between the bridge and the water. Now, like the water is like splashing up against the underside of the bridge, and it's like the banks have like risen up, so basically like right where the bridge starts, like the ground is a little marshy and like wet, but you know, it's a stone bridge, it's lasted forever, it's doing fine. But you can also hear this like bunk 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 bunk, and if you, as you're walking over it and you look over, you can see just like pieces of wood and stuff just like floating along through the water, and you're like, oh, okay, some trees fell in, but like a board surfaces before getting pulled under, and like a rocking chair, and then like
shit.
you see like a dresser wash up on the side of the river.
Are these coming from the direction that we heard the bells?
The bells and the yelling, yes they are.
Ooh.
Damn, good thing we didn't stay in a house
Oh,
last night, huh?
So Drusilla, I think I know what those bells were now.
What bells?
Mm,
Oh, Drusilla and I heard bells last night and screaming.
Wait,
I didn't hear screaming.
Oh, shouting, yelling, then maybe?
I just heard bells.
So you heard alarm bells in the middle of
I
like
didn't
a
think they
level
were
5
alarm.
storm?
I didn't think they were alarm bells. I just thought, oh, that's weird. There's
Yeah.
bell sounds, and then yelling. Maybe someone's at well,
Sid's gonna immediately
nothing we could have done.
start heading off in the direction,
Okay.
like following the river.
Okay. Is gonna, yeah, you, so Sid just goes off the bridge and starts going in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Which side of the river? You like fully cross and then follow the river, or do you go back?
I go back.
Okay.
So just so y'all know, if we come into a flood or if there's things underwater, I'm fine. I can breathe in water.
Does anyone follow Sid, or is it just Sid
I'll
going by himself?
I'll
no,
follow.
Elvin following Sid.
Okay.
Follow.
So you walk along.
Sid's going on a one-man adventure.
You go along the river, and you can see, the water is like gray and choppy, and like before it was fairly calm, but it's like coursing down with like practically turning into rapids overnight.
Can I keep my eyes open for bodies in the river?
Yes, you can. Make me a perception check.
Great. 21.
Yeah, you're walking along, and like you pass by this like collection of reeds, and you see a like older, like probably in his mid-50s man laying on his back, eyes just clouded over and open, staring upwards, just like floating in the reeds, limp.
I'm gonna go fish him out.
Okay. Very waterlogged, drowned corpse.
Oh, Ilvem, you found dinner.
Do you think the villagers would want the body back?
Most likely.
I think so, but I think that we can leave him here for now until we know what's going on.
We can.
I'm
So I don't
place
want
him
to.
over my shoulder
Oh,
and like fireman carry him.
if we didn't want to carry a body around and look weird, there's room in my bag for him.
That is so much weirder, I think.
True. I don't think anyone would be thrilled to see me pulling a relative out of my bag of holding.
Yeah. And you know, the halo really helps with the whole coming off as non-threatening with a dead body.
I could make a halo appear above my head too. But that's your thing.
I can't.
So if I'm just like patting this corpse on the ass.
No, he's on the back.
Okay.
Oh, are you trying to get the water out?
Yeah.
I hope it's not a zombie.
It's definitely not just because he makes a really interesting sound.
Okay, well, we're gonna keep walking now.
All right. So keep walking along the river, and eventually you find your way over to Riverside Village. You can see that the banks of the river, especially here, have like risen up significantly, and like water is basically like curving out and like flowing through what is basically the village square. And just kind of the pattern that the buildings make, and with remains, you can see that about 2 or 3 houses or buildings of some kind have just been like washed out into the river and destroyed by the storm. And basically you can see like halves of the buildings and things, but the sides closest to the river have just like been ripped apart and washed away. You can see posts of where there probably was a bridge, and there's a windmill water mill off to one side. Like the water wheel is like in what should be like a quarter of the way into the river, and the building itself is like partially submerged. And you can see people kind of milling around, but you get the post-disaster sense, like everything is calm, everything is quiet, people are doing what they can, but the excitement is over basically.
Hello? Does anybody know this man?
Somebody comes over. A woman comes over, still like basically in pajamas, more or less, hastily thrown on clothes, and like looks soaking wet from being out all night in the rain. Comes over and takes a look. Hello. Oh, that's yes, that's our Miller. I'm sorry. Hello.
Oh, hi. Sorry, this is a horrible way to meet somebody. I'm Ilvem.
Very, very nice to meet you. I'm Beatrice, and his wife is, well, I can take him from you.
Oh, okay.
And she holds up her arms and takes him, and thank you for finding him. We had hoped that he was all right, but well, at least now we know.
Is there anything else we can do for your town? You're looking a little rough. Are there any wounded? I'm mostly good with healing.
Nothing more than a few scrapes and bruises. Most of the people that were washed out we haven't found yet, but a few have made it back that were on the edge, and they're all right. Are you travelers?
I guess. What are we? We've never really talked about it.
Or heroes.
I wouldn't push
Anti-heroes?
We were just on our way back to Pyre when we crossed the bridge and found your friend.
If you're still... I have to get back, and there's some things I need to do, but I think that now, if you're already traveling that direction, the best we could ask for is if you just deliver the news. We could use help, but more than 4 people could offer. The best we could get was just a message reaching Pyre.
All right. And what is? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the area. What is the name of your town?
Mandrake Crossing.
That's a very good name.
And
Thank you.
Is there anyone specific in Pyre that you can think of to deliver this message to?
I've never been to the city myself. I don't know, but we see people come from the city from time to time. The guard. I'm not sure. Anyone who could help.
It would probably be best to go to the temples.
All right. If you would do that for us, we would greatly appreciate it.
Of course, it's the least we could do. We'll deliver your message to the right people, and hopefully you can get some help. I apologize for this tragedy.
These things happen, I suppose. Nothing could be done about it.
Well, I wish you the best, and if there's anything that we can do before we set off again.
I think the sooner we get this message, the better.
Of course, then we will set off immediately.
Thank you. I'll get back to tending to everyone here.
All right. Stay safe, Beatrice. And Sid will walk off back to the road.
All right.
And follow.
Okay.
What was the name of that temple that we went to way back when? Who helped us with the thing?
I don't know.
Something
The
silver
one
flame.
with the fire that I touched.
Is that Silver Flame? I think we should probably head there. But anyway, we head back to Pyre.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. What with the hustle and such.
All right. So you get back to the road and you hustle back into Pyre. You can make it to the city. The city looks, damp, wet. The roads are muddy, but for the most part, it is the main roads, especially the main one coming from the gate. Starting at the gates, actually a little bit outside. It is cobblestone, so it's not even that muddy on the inside.
Is that tree nearby where I buried the sending stone in this area?
And it's coming out of this gate, so yeah, you could detour slightly over to
I'm gonna
that.
scurry over to that tree.
Okay.
And check if the sending stone's still there.
Yeah, you can actually see a little, because you buried it right at the roots of the tree, correctly.
Yeah.
A little bit of it has a little bit of the dirt is washed away from the rain, so the corner of the stone is poking out.
Yeah.
If you wanted to bury it deeper, you could just literally put your finger on it and just push it down.
Gonna take it.
Okay.
Aja's not gonna be grabbing this anytime soon, and I just come back to Drew and just say, "Oh yeah, I don't think Aja's gonna be grabbing that sending stone, so I grabbed it just in case anyone gets split up in this group."
Okay.
Okay. So I'll get back to the gates of the city. Where are you heading first?
Straight to the temple.
Yeah, Temple of Silver Flame.
Yep. Temple.
That was.
All right, so you follow along the main road through town. It's the main road from this gate to the temple, basically, that runs this full length of town. So you have to make 0 turns or anything as you make your way along this wide cobblestone road. Cross over the riverside. You can see as you pass by, you get close to the riverbank, and you get close to the section where it sort of drops down, the road drops down to the riverfront section, where it's pretty much almost at water level, and you can see the entrances to the tunnels where Lucas has his office and everything. Doesn't look like this flooded. You would guess that most likely the city has some sort of things in place to keep the banks from overflowing into those areas. But you hurry along the road known as Bakir's Walk and make your way all the way up to the temple on the top of the cliff. You get into the temple district, and you can see various temple guards and people and priests milling about.
Ilvem does look immediately uncomfortable again.
I don't like this myself.
Don't worry, we'll hopefully only be here for a short while. And Sid's going to basically kind of either approach whoever looks I don't know, higher up in the hierarchy, or just whoever's nearest.
Okay. You go for more of a guard or a clergy type?
Clergy type.
Okay. So you see an older man in white robes making his way along the road, going from one building to another.
Okay. I will approach him. Excuse me, sir.
Yes. How can I help you?
I apologize. I hate to bother you, but I'm not quite sure who to speak to. We come from Mandrake Crossing. They were hit hard by the storm and require aid.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just a scholar in the temple, but I think I can stay here. I'll go find someone.
Thank you so much.
And he hurries inside. A couple minutes later, a window, like you can see a window on the upper floors opens up, and a figure just kind of like steps out, and then sprouts. You can see like up at it, like high up and at a distance, but like figure steps out the window and like falls, and then sprouts a pair of wings halfway down, and then basically just kind of like folds them back and zooms over like in a curve way faster. Like the wings are just folded up, and just like flies straight down to you and lands with a gust of wind, like flaring out the wings as almost like air brakes, and stops. And you see the Azamar that you spoke to briefly when you were in the temple last, talking to them about the when you were testifying about the Chimera's personal army. Sir Eagrel lands in front of you with his wings all flared out, long white hair, solid white eyes. And as he lands and the wings flare out, it's like you're kind of just hit with like gust of wind off of him as he lands, and just as he alights on his feet, they just vanish in a flash of light. He says, hello, am I to understand that you're who I'm looking for?
Yes, it's actually fantastic to see you again, but unfortunately I wish it were under better circumstances. We were just coming from outside Pyre, and we send word from Mandrake Crossing. They were hit hard by the storm, several buildings lost, at least one dead, several people still missing. They require aid, and we promised that we would come to Pyre and get that news to those who might be able to help them.
Thank you for letting me know. He turns to one of the standing guards and says, "You there, come here." And the guard hurries over and he says, gather up some men, put together supplies. We'll need another village has been hit by the storm. They're in need of aid, so well, you know what to do. Go on." And the hobgoblin that he's speaking to nods and says, "Yes, sir, right away," and rushes off to the side, and like you can see him gathering up a few more standing guards and gathering them up with them. He says, "We've been receiving word all morning. This happens every time there's a bad storm. I've been saying we need to improve infrastructure along our waterways, but perhaps this will get people to finally listen to me. I have, you'll understand, I have some logistics to get to, so I must return, but it seems that we once again owe a debt of gratitude to your being in the city."
It's quite literally the least we could do, and if there's anything else that we can do to help, find us at the Onyx Cat.
I will keep that in mind. Capable and trustworthy individuals such as yourself are difficult to come by, and, well, we may have need of you if you are in need of work.
Always looking for good work with good people.
Well, it is good, especially given the circumstances. It is relatively good to see you again, and I once again thank you for your aid. Good morning, all of you. And then he turns and makes his way back inside.
I know. We're leaving now. Do you want to go see Master Varo first, or check in at the Onyx Cat?
I can go check on Master Varo. You guys can do the Onyx Cat. I can speak to you guys through this stone if anything happens that's important.
I think we can come with you. Besides, personally, I'm a little interested in some of the items that we're giving him.
Would you mind terribly if I went back to the Onyx Cat? I am unbelievably tired and just wiped.
Of course. Do you want to, what is that? Sending stone?
Yes.
So we can keep in touch?
You can use it once a day.
Is it alright if we give it to Ilvem?
Alright, and I toss it to Ilvem.
Okay. Drew, will you be coming with Hannibal and I?
Yes, I have the other sending stone, so I'll come with you.
Stay
Okay.
safe, get some rest. Let us know if you need anything.
You too.
It's like late afternoon by this point. Okay, so Ilvem heads back to the Onyx Cat. Everybody else heads to the university to meet with Master Varro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ilvem will arrive first. The entertainment district is much closer to the temples than the university. The university is like on the opposite side of town. So everybody else is walking for a little while. So Ilvem, you arrive back at the Onyx Cat. Tired, a little damp, muddy boots. Had a long couple days.
Yeah. I'm gonna just go check in with, oh god, what's his name?
Mirth?
Murph.
Sugar daddy.
Yeah, guys, literally I just almost was like, I'm gonna go check in on daddy, and then I had to bring it back to be like, that's not his actual name.
Okay, so you go check in with Mirth. Mirth is, in the main dining hall. They're like starting with their dinner rush at this point.
Okay, I'm just gonna do like a little like nod, like, hi, I'm back. We're all technically back. I'm going to bed now. Bye.
Oh,
Okay.
Hello, welcome back. And that we have a visitor
Oh god. Great.
who wanted to, the person you asked about, the people you asked
Yes.
about. One of them has arrived and was waiting to meet with you as soon as you were back.
Great. Where should I go?
He's resting for the moment, but he's planning on performing tonight. So, if you'd like to rest as well, I'm sure I could introduce the two of you after his performance.
I mean, if you're sure he'll be fine with that. I mean, I'm good to do. I'm good for right now if that's better. But
He's had a long journey himself. He just arrived this morning. He was taking the day to rest in his room. So I don't think he would. I think he would. I think he would appreciate when he's ready.
Great. Perfect. Oh, great news. Thank you so much, Martha. I'm gonna like just kind of like fall into his arms and do like a very tired hug, and then go to my room.
Okay. All right. So yeah, he goes back to talking to some like very well dressed elf that he was like serving at the table, and then you head back up to your room.
Yes.
All right, everybody else, you make your way across town to the university district. Hannibal probably leading the way. Do you head to the university or do you head to Master Varro's home?
Master Varro's home first.
Okay. Yeah, as you come up, it's starting, like, sun's going down, it's starting to get dark, and you can see lights on in the inside, illuminating from the windows.
All right, before we even get close to the door, Mage Hand is going to knock on the door for me.
Okay. So you're like 30 feet out, knock on the door, and then make your way up, and like just as the door is just as you're like getting up to the door, it opens, and you can see Master Varro like in basically like like house coat and like just comfy home clothes. He probably looks like he stayed home today and like just stayed in during the rainy days. Oh, hello, Hannibal. Oh, that's right. You've been come in. He seems very excited as he gestures for you all.
Everybody, come.
Yeah, he gestures for you all to come inside, and he claps his hands and says, "Can I take anyone's coats?"
No, it's fine. I like to wear mine.
All right.
I don't have a coat.
He like gestures to thin air and it says, "Go grab us some tea," and then you just like get just, like the barest sense of motion as like the air shifts and it feels like something like you get like the feeling of something like leaving, but you don't see anything. Says, "Please come in," and brings you all into like his front sitting room, Hannibal, where you first like had your meeting with him. Says, sit down, relax. Some refreshments will be arriving in a moment.
I don't drink alcohol. I don't like it.
Oh, I was just tea, if that's all right with everyone.
Works for me.
All right. How did it go? Did you?
I show him the ring on my ungloved hand. I think it went well.
Yes. Good.
There was some weird armor, though.
armor was a part of the shipment, yes.
Before I handed over, the armor at least,
Yes.
it was making this aarakocra bandit act very strange. He couldn't take it off while we were burning him alive.
Interesting. I won't ask about the gory details, but
It was almost like it was. He looks at Sid and Drusilla. Would you say cursed? Or difficult to take off?
I'd say it seemed very cursed.
Yeah, because I had no issues taking it off. I mean, I never put it on.
Well, sorry, apologies. Where are my manners? I know Hannibal, but wait. Yes, we've met.
Yes.
You came and met with me, and we went. Yes, we read your auras.
Yes, which I still greatly appreciate you for doing that.
Of course.
But yes, this armor, it seems different now than when we first encountered it, but an aarakocra was wearing it. His body seemed to be atrophying. He couldn't take it off, and we had to kill him twice.
And
It brought him back to life.
And I could see through my eyelids when sleeping in it.
You wore it
For a second.
Interesting. How are you feeling?
I feel perfectly fine. I was able to take it off without any issues. But then I threw it down a mine shaft when everyone got mad at me.
You what?
But I have it back. It's in my bag of holding.
Oh, all right.
I didn't want it falling into the wrong hands. I got a little paranoid.
All right.
But everything should be in the bag of holding and accounted for. The ring is on my hand. I have the circlet on my head.
Oh, the circlet, yes, that was also part of the shipment.
Yes. I take off the ring and the circlet and put it on the table.
Yeah. As you're doing that, like a tray with like a teapot and teacups and like some cookies just like floats into the room and like comes and sets down on the table as well.
I mage hand my tea so I can still like use my hands while my mage hand is helping me drink my tea.
Okay. He says, excellent. If you wouldn't mind just setting some things out here on the table back here, if I could just see what you've all recovered.
Okay, I think of whatever we all recovered, and I just kind of gently dump it out of the bag of holding on the table.
Okay, so yeah, you get up and walk over to
armor as well, yeah.
Yeah, his like dining room table, and he's like laying it all out and setting it aside and everything. He gets to look at the armor. He's like, oh, that is fearsome looking. Would you mind terribly if I investigated you a little bit, since you've worn it, just to see if it had any effects?
Please, yes. And maybe just tell me, so I don't get yelled at more, maybe? No, I'm kidding. Tell everyone, please.
All right. He waves a hand, and a rug in the middle of the room like folds over, like rolls itself up and like rolls aside, and you can see a magic circle that's been like etched and like painted and burned into the floor of the hardwood floor of his house, hidden under the rug. Please step into the middle.
You know, you've done a really good job cleaning this place up after the spiders. And I stand in the circle.
Thank you very much. It took quite some time, but, first-year students always need a way to practice their prestidigitation spells.
I don't know that spell.
Well, it's quite useful for home life. As he's speaking, he like gestures at a cabinet, and like doors open, and crystals begin like floating out and setting themselves into like smaller circles around the circle you're standing in. A few candles like set up in between them in the gaps there, and he begins just snapping his fingers, and as he does, the candles all light themselves in sequence.
Hannibal is visibly uncomfortable and nervous.
Mm-hmm. And as he finishes, he like recites a little incantation, waves his hands. You can see a little like nimbus of light appear between his fingers, and then the circle on the ground flares into like a dull purple for a second, and like just a slight shimmer to the air and like a dome around you. He says, "Now don't be worried. It won't hurt a bit. It's a more rudimentary version of what I used to investigate the two of you within the university."
he looks at both Sid and Drusilla and just kind of gives like a really unnerving smile because he can't really do that well.
It doesn't hurt.
So yeah, it begins to just like that kind of like cobalt blue light begins to glow from around you and kind of coalesce and condense. He begins like turning his hands and moving them, almost like focusing something, and you can see like as he turns them in one direction, you can see the Sid and Drusilla. You can see that like pale green line that trails off from him, just like it did for both of you. The exact same thing. And then he keeps he keeps going in that direction, eventually fades, and you see nothing, just like nothing. It's like, all right. He turns back. As he does, like the line reappears and then vanishes again, and then you see the light just kind of like expand off of Hannibal, and then like glow from all around him, and you see like these moving, kind of flowing shadows all over him. And at first you're concerned, but then you recognize the pattern, and it's the same kind of shadows you get from when light is going through the surface of water and like on the bottom of the surface. And you see that just kind of all over him, and he says, well, that's interesting. I've never seen that before, but that appears to be natural. That appears to be nothing extra. And he goes past that again, and that vision fades, and then he seems to be satisfied with himself, and then the light fades, he claps his hands, all the candles go out, and he begins just mage handing the crystals and candles back into the cabin. He says, I detect no ill effects from your interaction with the armor.
I knew it! Okay, that's good to know. Excellent.
Well, and he looks at the table and he says, magnificent. Oh, this is going to be... this was a sizable research grant to gather all of these objects and artifacts, and they'll do quite well in the vaults and display rooms and research facilities of the university. Oh, I'm so glad this didn't go to waste. Of course, but your reward. And he picks up the ring and he says, this goes to you. If you can determine what it does, I would love to find out. But...
So I did a little test. I almost fell in the hole in the mine shaft, and it almost saved me, it looked like. So I tested it by jumping off a rock and landing on my face, and I didn't get hurt. So I assumed if I jumped down this mine shaft, it wouldn't kill me, and it didn't.
Protected you from falling, you say?
Yes.
Was it similar to like a feather fall spell?
It seemed to create a fire effect.
Yes, it splashed them all with mud and sizzled water.
Drew is still covered in the mud. She did not take it off.
We're all disgusting.
Could you describe it to me, please, in great detail? And he like waves a hand over at a desk, and like a quill like leaps up, dips itself in ink, and like sits poised over the over a page.
When I fell down the mine shaft, it was almost like, you know, when you see a shooting star in the sky.
Yes, please do go on.
It was kind of like that, the flame trail and everything, and the flame got brighter and brighter, and it scorched the walls of this tunnel. And when I hit the bottom, it sent everything at the bottom of the shaft kind of pinging off in all directions. It broke stones, and it scorched walls and sizzled things. Almost like a shooting star or something entering the atmosphere.
Yeah, as you've been talking, that quill is just like dancing across the page, recording everything you're saying. And then once you finish, it stops. He walks up to you and he like gently takes your hand so you can look at the ring, and turns it towards you, and he says, did I tell you what that ring is made of?
No.
That ring is forged from the metals of a rock that fell from the sky. Much in the same way you're describing.
That's very cool.
It seems that whatever the properties of the ring are that it imbues within its wearer similar properties to it itself and how it came to us. That's fascinating. Well, since you have discovered what it is and we now know, I would love for you to keep it. I would love for you to hang on to it, and I would love for you to use it and continue checking in and telling me about any additional properties you discover within it, other limitations, constraints, anything you can determine.
I can do that so easily.
I would appreciate that so greatly much.
Oh, also, there's this wand that I bought. And I just shake it, and it does either a lightning bolt or a fireball.
Oh, good heavens. He like holds out his hands. May I?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like this janky wand, like wrapped in wire with like a green crystal, just like jammed on the end of it, and like basically like wrapped around, like knotted with copper wire to hold it on. And it just looks. He's like, oh, good, dear. This looks to be the work of a second or third year student. Where did you get this?
Magic shop. I bought it off of, I believe, a Warforged called 5.
Well, if you can remember any details about where you got this, I would love to find out, because I would love to have a word with the student who not only felt that this was an appropriate use of resources, but also was irresponsible enough to put this out into the world and sell it. This barely looks like it will hold together.
I mean, it works.
It does. It worked very well on the aarakocra who was wearing that armor.
Saved our ass a couple times.
He hands it back to you and says, well, you paid good money for it, so I won't take it from you, but I would like to find out more so I can prevent something like this from happening again.
I could look into that for you.
Do I remember the name of the place?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You remember that it was Master Axul's Emporium.
Cool. Pass that information on to Master Faro.
Axul's, yes, I know it. Near the Bone Grinder, such a distasteful place.
The Bone Grinder, what a lovely, yes, distasteful.
Well, I'll, either I or one of my colleagues will have stop in to speak with him, to find out which student has been hawking their projects for extra drinking money. But in the meantime, and a stack of 3 scrolls and a coin purse comes floating into the room. He says, your reward. We had a little bit of extra research money left over in case we needed to pay for anything else. Of course, it wouldn't pay for much of anything, more so than perhaps another delivery fee from a distance, but we consider it to be insurance in case the shipment did not make it back, and since it did, you may have it, as well as I've put together a few scrolls for you. They're a bit beyond your capability at this moment. If you can have the patience to wait until you are capable, then you may place them in your own spell book, but otherwise, if you need to, you may use them ahead of time at your own discretion.
That sounds wunderbar.
The scrolls and the coin purse come floating up to you.
Sid's gonna check out the coin purse. How much dough we got?
You do it. You don't have to take time to count it exactly, but it's in larger increment coins, about 400 gold pieces.
Ooh.
Hannibal will put these spell scrolls in his bag of holding.
Okay. Well, I'm going to speak with a few people and get these all to he gestures the table to the place where they need to be. All of you look like you could use some rest, to be frank. Thank you once again, and Hannibal, I look forward to more lessons, though I'm also very interested to hear what experience you gained from your time in the field.
Lots.
Wonderful. I look forward to speaking to you about it more in the future.
Okay,
Come by for tea again sometime, and we can speak.
sounds good to me, Master Varro.
Wonderful. Have a good day to all of you, and I wish you some good rest.
You as well.
You as well, Master Varro.
All right. Well,
Leave.
all right. And he goes back. As you're leaving, he's like staring at the table, just, oh, wonderful, wonderful. He looks very excited about all of his things being there.
So that went well.
That went very well.
I'm not cursed.
I am happy about that. Well, before we head back to the Onyx Cat, you two can go ahead of me if you wish. I wanted to stop by the library just for a brief moment.
Allowed back there.
All right.
Right,
Yeah.
I'll meet back at the Onyx Cat. I'll be brief.
All right.
And Sid's gonna go to the library and check on that book just really quick.
Okay. No new developments.
Okay. What time is it right now?
It's evening at this point.
Okay.
What's-
What?
Hmm?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
When you say don't worry about it, I worry about it more, dude.
No, I was just gonna ask what spell scrolls they were.
Okay, got you.
You have not investigated yet. You can.
Then yeah, Sid will just go back to the Onyx Cat because he's covered in mud and wants
Okay.
a bath.
Okay. All right. Hannibal and Drusilla, you arrive back about the time that Ilvem is waking up from their nap.
Hi.
Hello.
How is Master Varro's?
Excellent. I'm not cursed from wearing the armor. Had no ill effects on me. Everything is golden.
Great. Ooh. I had a lovely nap.
Good.
Okay.
Did you replace the blankets?
Oh, they're in my bag of holding.
Wait, did they replace the blankets?
They did replace the
didn't-
blanket. They did replace the blankets.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna say if they didn't, they stole Sid's. But they replaced the blankets.
So what should we just keep the ones we took then.
I'm gonna go down to the dining hall. I think the shows are starting soon, and I don't want to miss them tonight.
I think I'll stay up here by myself for a bit. I need some time to study my new scrolls.
Ooh, exciting!
It actually is. Thank you.
I think I'll join you for the shows tonight. Elvin.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's go do that then.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You head downstairs into the dining hall area. It's a little more crowded and everything, getting more populated. The band like up on the balcony started playing and providing background music and everything.
Is Mirth around?
Mirth is around, yes.
I'd like to go up to him really quickly.
Okay.
Drew is following, just kind of like.
Hey, do you have any open slots for tonight?
For you, I believe we can always find one.
Oh, stop it! That's ridiculous. But yeah, if you could find one, I'd like to perform tonight.
All right, I'll look at the schedule. I'll see what I can move around.
Thank you, Mirth.
Of course. And he makes his way off, his tail just kind of like whipping along behind him.
God, he's so hot.
As you're this is before Sid, you're still making your way back because the library is big and a little out of the way. Ilvem, as you're walking back over, the person that Mirth was talking to when you first talked to him, still sitting at the same table. And as you pass by that table again, he turns to you and says, "Excuse me, are you a performer here? I saw you speaking to the owner of the establishment."
Oh, I've performed once so far. It's my second performance tonight. Hopefully, it'll go a little bit better.
Oh, well. Pleasure to meet you. I'm a patron of the arts, so to speak. I'm visiting in town, and I was, well, I'm quite interested in music, so I thought I would introduce myself.
Well, it's very nice to meet you. When did you get in?
Some days ago, not terribly recently.
Well, I'm Ilvem. It's a pleasure.
Very nice to meet you. My name is Ambassador Iranian.
Hi.
Oh, where
hello.
are you an ambassador from?
I'm an ambassador from Oromar.
Oromar. I don't know if I know that.
Where is that?
That is northeast of here.
Is this ambassador handsome?
Yeah, so sorry. The ambassador is like he's an elf, so he's reached that stage of life of having that like ageless quality.
Does he look familiar?
No. Very, very sharp features, like long, like very long blonde, like straight blonde hair, like down to his back. He's wearing like flowing robes of like aqua and turquoise with like patterns woven between those two colors. And standing behind him is what appears to be a bodyguard. Just kind of just looking around impassively. He's wearing purple robes trimmed with gold, has very deep brown skin, and his hair is cut very short and just very massive curly white on top, and just kind of seems to be just bored and just observing the room.
Okay.
And the ambassador says, well, I don't want to keep you for too long, but it's very nice to make your acquaintance, Ilvem.
Oh, it was so nice meeting you. Do you want to have dinner together? We haven't actually picked a table yet.
I believe I have room for that, yes.
Sweet. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go order.
I believe we can get some of the staff to come over to here if you wouldn't mind. We can have some chairs pulled up.
Sure.
And actually, he just like looks over his shoulder up at his bodyguard and says, "You can handle that, can't you?" And just with a nod, the bodyguard heads off to go and speak to some of the wait staff. And then a few chairs are brought over and set up. Some places, plates and things set up, and your good friend the Furbolg, what was his name? Quinroar comes over with like a notepad and says, "Oh well, hey there, folks. What can I get you for tonight?"
Oh, just whatever is on for dinner, and maybe some pomegranate juice if you have any right now.
The ambassador looks at him and says, "Pomegranate juice. What excellent taste you have."
Thanks.
Yeah. Look, as you all finish ordering and everything, he looks over at Drusilla and what exactly do aside from? Are you all performers?
No.
Nope, just me.
What do you do exactly? He says, looking over at Drusilla, who's covered in mud.
I adventure with my siblings.
She's really quite extraordinary.
Adventure. Well, I've never had the luxury of adventure, but I've enjoyed reading about such exploits in my free time.
I can tell you a story if you want.
I would love that. Right about now, Sid, is when you enter into the Onyx Cat main dining room,
Yeah.
and you see what you see. Party sitting at a table, ordering food, chatting with you-know-who while you-know-other-who is standing behind him.
Okay. Does anybody notice me yet?
Probably not. You're seeing them from a distance. They're all like talking to each other.
Can I make it upstairs to clean up? Because I'm also covered in mud right now.
Mm-hmm. You could like back out this door and go around the long way, like the back entrance.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna Simpsons back up like into like the head and go upstairs to freshen up and look my fucking best.
Okay. All right.
Goblin true.
Sid's gonna enter the door like is Hannibal there?
Oh yeah, I'm right in the main area, kind of studying my scrolls and.
Oh,
Sid.
did you not sit down at the table?
No, I'm upstairs.
Oh, you're still upstairs. Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Sid,
Okay.
you look quite flustered. Is everything all right?
He's like kind of hyperventilating a little bit. There's whew.
Do you need to impress somebody? Do you need to make somebody jealous? What's going on?
Do you remember the letter I gave you?
Oh, yes.
And I mentioned that I someone and he almost killed me.
Yes.
He's downstairs with the love of my life and he's gonna go take a shower.
What? I have to see this.
He's oh god no. God no.
What are these?
God no.
So what are these spell scrolls? Would I had enough time to kind of like look them over?
Yes, you would have. Yeah, you could have read over the spell scrolls. So you've got, and I can send these to you afterwards as well.
Yeah, just do that. Yeah.
I can tell you right now, just so you know.
Okay, cool.
It's 3 conjure minor elementals.
Ooh,
Dope.
interesting.
Shit.
Greater invisibility, and last is creation.
Creation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Cool. Put those in my bag of holding.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up off the table.
All right.
This is going to be so much fun. Compose yourself, Hannibal. Downstairs.
Okay. Drew, what was the story you were telling to the ambassador? Sid, did I pronounce Iranian right? Is that how you pronounce that?
Yes.
Okay. I want to make sure I pronounce the other one correctly too.
It's okay. You can literally say anything. I have not decided how to pronounce either of them.
Perfect. Okay.
You're good.
So the story that Drew is gonna say, like, completely oblivious to who this person is.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna tell the story of how her, Ilvem, and some friends broke their brother, Sid and Hannibal, out of a prison.
Oh,
Okay.
damn
So you
it.
go through the story, you talk about it, and like, give all the context and everything, and like you probably end it with the whole part about like, and then we went and we like they got all arrested because that was totally illegal and it was not like a real, you give all the context and everything. Irenian is very interested in the story and like doesn't bat an eye at every mention of the name Sid. However, the bodyguard standing behind him, on the other hand, is like staring off into space, not paying attention, like watching the room, doing his job, and then like make me an insight check.
Can I also?
Yes.
Okay.
Both of you make me insight checks.
What do I want to use?
Sam, be gentle.
Oh
My heart is beating so fast
Ooh.
right now. I'm shaking.
I just got a natural 20 for a 26.
Oh my god! Oh, I got 17 plus 4,
Wow.
which is math.
It's one of Ilvem's expertises.
So, okay, both of you, definitely notice that like every time Drusilla says the name Sid, he like reacts, like his eyes, like at first it's like you say it and his eyes like dart down to you. Second time you say it, he like turns his head a little bit. Third time you say it, he like, you can tell he's now like listening to the story. And it's like, Ilvem, you can see him, like, it gets to the point where, like, every time something is described as putting Sid in danger or threatening Sid or, like, Sid being in trouble and, like, being in prison and this whole thing, like, every time Drew says something like that, you can see, like, the slightest, like, flinch on his face, like he's being punched in the stomach every time. Like, not, like, big, but just, like, his, like, eyes go a little bit wide and he, like, flinches forward by, like, a quarter of an inch.
Oh. Anyways, yeah, that's the story.
Well, that is fascinating. I had no idea that there was such adventure to get up with within the city. I thought it was relatively safe here. You have your work cut out for you, don't you? And he, like, gently elbows back at his bodyguard, and his bodyguard, like, blinks and shakes his head, like, coming back from wherever he was mentally just then for a second and says, yeah. Yes, I do.
When does Hannibal get downstairs?
Probably like as the story is finishing up, you get down a little bit afterwards.
I can see them all at the table.
Yeah, you can see the part. You can see your siblings sitting down with a very, very well dressed elf and another elf or half elven bodyguard standing behind him.
I approach. Hello, I am Hannibal.
Also, after my nap, I changed into my fine clothes.
Okay, all right.
I am Sid's bodyguard.
What? No, you're not.
Who's the Sid from your story? I see.
Yeah.
The one you.
This is the
you're
Hannibal from my story.
Hannibal. I
I'm
see.
Hannibal.
Yeah.
Lovely to meet you. Would you like to pull up a chair?
I don't sit on chairs.
Yeah, I've seen you sit
I
on
sit
chairs
on the
before.
bodies of my enemies.
You've never once done that.
I mean,
Hannibal,
kinda
the
has.
bodyguard standing behind the ambassador has turned all of his attention to you and is just giving you a very steady yet subtle glare.
I'm gonna like start laughing loudly to play everything off as a joke.
Which one
and
of
be
you
like,
beat my brother nearly to death?
What?
Bodyguard suddenly just
Wait, one of you beat Sid up?
the ambassador says, I have no idea what your brother is talking about.
I trust his word a lot more than I trust your word.
Okay, what we're not gonna do right now is all of this. I am so sorry, sir. It was very lovely meeting you. You and you walk away. We're leaving. I'm gonna like pick up my plate of food and be like, get your plate of food. We're going. And then just kind of like forcibly like link arms with Hannibal and be like, we are going to this table.
Don't touch me.
Over here now.
No.
Too late.
No.
Before she leaves, she's doing this
Just
at the other
stop it.
two, and then she's
I
go upstairs.
break out of Ilvem's grip, or attempt to.
Okay. All right. Athletics checks.
God. Oh my god.
Because I ain't about being forcefully moved.
Drew is going upstairs to talk to Sid about this.
Athletics check.
Yep.
That is a 17.
Yep, you're good.
Pull out of yeah, Hannah buff, pull just
I'll be watching you.
Oh, all right.
Hannibal, knock it off.
Please keep an eye on that one for me. And the bodyguard just
And then I'll follow and go sit
Okay.
at a different table.
You're a fucking asshole.
No, I'm not. That one's the asshole for beating Sid to death nearly.
I don't know what you're talking about. But that was not the correct way to handle it.
Yes, it was.
I'm gonna go sit at a different table.
Okay. Sid,
Uh-huh.
you come downstairs.
Yeah.
Y'all cleaned up and dressed up all fancy.
I'm trying to look my best. Hair is freshly braided. I'm wearing my best clothes. And I am extremely hesitant coming down the stairs. Back into the main room, it takes me a while.
Okay. By the time you get back into the main room, you can see that the ambassador is dining alone again. Drusilla is like coming towards you, like to go to the room, and Hannibal and Ilvem are at separate tables.
And Ilvem's just like glaring daggers.
Okay.
Liz gonna beeline to Sid and just plant herself beside him.
He is definitely still staying out of sight a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely having a hard time hiding that this is probably the most afraid Sid has ever been in his life. He is wide-eyed, maybe shaking a little bit, and just kind of looks at you, Drew, like just wide-eyed, like, dear God, help me.
Drew will take his hand and just be like, I got it, don't worry. Hannibal said that some things. If they try anything, they're gonna get zapped.
I just need to speak to Very alone.
Which one is that?
Bodyguard.
You want me to distract the other one?
If you can. I'm going to oh my God, what do I even say?
Hi, I'm Sid. Hello.
That's oh my God. Okay. Sid is going to sort of peek around just enough to like see Barry, and is gonna send a message, and it's just gonna be the same thing that he did last time. So it's, I honor the divinity within myself and the destruction.
All right. You can see he's like staring at Hannibal. Like, doesn't want to be, but is like watching Hannibal like a hawk. And then just like, you can see him just straighten up. And his eyes like dart around a little bit. He has to keep like watching Hannibal, but he's like looking around trying to find you.
About a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Cast another message and just say behind you.
He looks down and then slowly turns. He like slowly turns as if like scanning the room like as part of his job, but then like gets to you and you can see he's like like his gaze like catches on you and stops. And he like lower face like tightens up and making him very hard to read. Continues his scan and then turns back around to face Hannibal, but you can see just a lot of like he is holding his shoulders up with a lot of tension.
Go distract the other one now. I didn't hear anything you just said.
What? Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to send another message.
Mm-hmm.
Please touch the necklace I gave you if there's any chance that we could speak alone.
Pauses for a good minute. You see him standing there, and for a second you think he's basically saying no, and then eventually just puts his hand back down.
Okay, I'm going to turn to Drew.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, either by yourself or, God, I don't want you to be alone with that asshole.
Why? I can take him.
I don't doubt that, but he can be a bit much. Yes, if you wouldn't mind, if you could provide a distraction, or at least give Barry an excuse to step away for a moment, anything.
Yeah, I can talk to him for a while.
Thank you.
You can also see that the lights are beginning to dim, and you can see that they're or the lights dim slightly, letting everyone know that a performance is about to begin. They're gonna get into the performance part of things. They're starting to set stuff up on stage, and looks like in a few minutes, the first performance of the night will begin.
Drew's gonna wipe some mud off her eyebrows and just be like, how do I look?
Well enough to talk to him.
Alright, and then she's gonna...
Sid's going to use the dimming lights to sort of, still definitely trying to stay out of sight, move along to the bar.
Okay. Make me a stealth check.
Big fuck.
Natural 20.
You
20
got
no
this.
whammies. That is not a natural 20. That is a 10.
Okay. You get like halfway,
Fuck.
and then Arcaniel, like, you can see him just like perk up a little bit and like start to turn his head in your direction, but you manage to, like, seeing that, can like turn your back and like go like stand at like just stand with a group of people you don't know and like look away from him. You're not quite sure if he saw you or not.
Shit, we're gonna just sidestep our way.
Okay. Make me another one.
Fuck, okay. Oh, please. Please, I don't want this, please.
Can I help in any way by
That's
just
an
like...
11. That's not much better.
Okay. You start making your way over to the bar. Do you look?
Nope. I do not.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
specifically not looking.
All right. You get to the bar.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm looking.
Well, actually, Ilvem,
Oh God.
getting over to you.
Jesus.
Ilvem, you're
Oh
a
my
little.
God.
You see Sid show up, but you're a little distracted at the moment, actually, because right as you notice Sid, an older halfling man with solid white hair, cut very short, and a very neatly trimmed goatee, wearing traveling leathers. Like he's basically passing by your table, but as he does, he whistles some very specific familiar notes.
I'm sorry, Sid. I am no longer looking for you.
It's okay. I understand. You gotta do what you gotta do, baby.
Can... Nah.
So Ilvem, that's what you've got.
All right, I will just kind of like repeat the sequence of notes as like a drumming on my table, like making it look like it's absent-minded, you know?
Okay. Corner of his mouth quirks up, and he like heel turns and very gracefully just like sits down at the table next to you. Says, "Why, hello there.
Hey,
Am I to understand that you're the one that called for me, so to speak?"
I think that's a fair assumption to make.
Right. Well, absolutely lovely to meet you. You
Yes,
are.
I'm sorry. I'm Ilvem. It's been a while since I've interacted with anybody.
Makes sense. Call me Marlos.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Marlos.
So, just to get parts of the more of the pleasantries out of the way. How deep in are you?
Probably not as deep in as you are.
I would certainly guess that. Otherwise, I would know your name already.
Well, I'm definitely in, but a lot of my getting deeper part got sidetracked by a truly delicious secret.
Well, as you may or may not know, secrets are what we do best.
I'm well aware.
Well, what was it specifically that you wanted to speak about?
I just wanted to get in contact with the order to, I guess, continue where I last left off.
All right. Tell me a bit about yourself. You don't have to share any secrets yet, but just a bit.
All right. Well, perhaps you could start us off so I know what kind of information you're looking for.
Well, me personally, I'm interested in history, particularly the history as it's remembered, not as it's written. Fascinated by how these things change, and especially how they change in places like this. He's looking around the room and like up at the stage. See, because most people think that history is kept in old dusty tomes, fettered away in libraries and kept by scholars. But I think you and I know that's not the truth. Half the people in here probably never been to a library, never opened up one of those books. But every single one of them's heard a song.
It's true. I've never opened a book myself.
So people like you and me, if I'm not mistaken, are the real keepers of history. It also means that we're the ones who get to write it and decide what it says. And there's power in that. But there's also power in discovering secrets, things unwritten, things undiscovered. That particular bit is what interests the group as a whole.
Yes.
Tell me, Ilvem, have you discovered any secrets recently?
I've discovered things. I'm not sure if they would be considered secrets. But I'd be happy to share some.
Well, neither the time or place, but I would love to hear them sometime. I think we should continue speaking. I won't be staying here. I have accommodation set up elsewhere after tonight, but I'd love to speak more. I'll get in contact with you. Are you performing tonight?
I am. I'm gonna do a little ditty, I think.
Little ditties are my favorite. I'm up to perform myself. In fact,
I'm very excited.
he looks up at the stage. I think they're about ready for me.
I sincerely doubt that.
Oh, I like you. I'll speak to you after my performance. And, well, just remind you again, I've chosen a song in particular that highlights my favorite kind of history.
Sounds good.
And he stands up, and as he does, like, knocks the retort back on the table to you very, very quickly, and then nods and starts heading up towards the stage. All right, Drew and Sid, you notice that, like, the lights are beginning to dim, and an older halfling is starting to get up on the stage, indicating the beginning of a performance.
Drew is just sitting at the table
Mm-hmm.
right beside this dude.
Oh, you just come down and sit at the table?
Just sitting down.
God damn it.
I'm sorry, I was under the impression that you and your compatriots had left. We had some sort of issue. You were blaming me, or at least suspicious of me for some sort of slight.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
Are you going to say sorry?
My God, please don't start a fight.
I'm not quite entirely sure what I'm apologizing for.
Throwing hands.
You see, Hannibal said that one of you two beat my brother Sid up, and that's not a good thing, because then that means I'm going to have to beat you up if you don't say sorry.
You just hear from behind you a sigh and a pop, 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 pop.
Also a very
Yeah.
high-pitched keening from several tables away.
It's just like, now,
Hannibal is
I don't think it
eyes
was bodyguard.
Stuck on Drew.
I think it was you, because, I just have this feeling on the inside. A gut instinct, you could call it. And I usually trust my gut. So I just want to know, did you beat Sid up?
I've not encountered a person named Sid, nor beaten anyone up. In my time in the city, I've been here for hardly more than a 10-day.
I don't think it happened in the city.
I'm sorry?
Probably before the city. I don't know how long ago it was, but I trust Hannibal. And if he says that someone at this table beat Sid up, then I trust that he knows what he's talking about.
Beat Sid up. And then, like, you see him as this is about as Sid is, like, moving over, and, like, corner of his eye looks over,
Shite.
and then you see Sid, like, turn and, like, go face first into a group of people and, like, start, like, subtly sidestepping along towards the bar. And the ambassador just leans back in his chair,
Oh, God damn it.
puts his hands together, and you just see just this wide smile on his face.
Oh, this
Drew's
cocksucker.
leaning in, just
Oh, this cocksucker.
I'm trying to lock eyes with Drew.
he's just focused on this man. Like,
Oh, I see. Sid.
I just realized something. That's me as a player. Never mind.
Sid. What a cute nickname.
Fucking called it.
This guy's a prick.
Yeah.
she's about to beat this bitch up. Like,
Uh-huh.
she's about to body bitch.
Drusilla turns to you, and you can just, like, his face looks like it's Christmas morning. And
I don't know what Christmas is, but
I know that's the expression on his face. And then, yeah, he says, I was not aware that Citariel had any siblings.
Well, surprise.
And you just like, you can see the quick, like, down up eyes of appraisal.
Ugh.
And just says, I'm somehow not surprised. Given my interactions with the Wayfarer household, none of this surprises me.
She was just making like a little questioning, like, the Wayfarer house, what? Yes. So, are you going to apologize, or are we going to have a problem?
Oh, no. If there was anything to apologize for, it would be leaving your sibling breathing after I was done with him.
Fuck.
I'm sorry? She was about ready to vault this fucking table.
Who heard what I said?
Yeah? Well, buddy, I believe that the only mistake here is going to be you breathing at the end of this.
What?
Is that a threat?
No, it's a promise.
Oh dear. Oh, I think coming to the city was exactly what I needed. This is so much fun. You are related to Citario.
Yeah, I am.
Guy looks like a prick.
Bold and foolhardy.
Is there a knife on the table?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes.
She was going to grab it.
Okay, Drusilla, I need you to make me either an athletics or acrobatics check.
Oh, baby, yeah, dude. I'm going to do athletics.
Okay.
We're gonna get arrested. We're gonna die. Lord.
17.
Okay. You go and reach for the knife, but as you do, a massive purple translucent hand appears, interposing itself between you and the ambassador, and like basically just grabs onto you and shoves you back in your chair away from the table. And you can see it extending off from behind the bodyguard.
Big B's hand.
Very similar to the hands that extend off of Sid, as another one is extended
sick.
back behind it in a fist. As it like coalesces into a fist behind him. And he just stares down at you, looking like he's just having a really bad day. I'm gonna need you to leave.
Why don't you let me and this guy right here settle this ourselves?
Because if anyone is going to settle anything with him that way, it is my duty to be the one that does it.
No, I think him and I are going to settle this ourselves.
No, that isn't happening.
It is happening.
Have I become aware of any
Oh
of this?
yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! You heard like the scraping of the chair. You heard the laughter, and yeah, you can see.
Did I at least grab the knife before I got pushed
Yes, you've
back?
got the knife. Yes, you've got the knife, but you can see.
Okay.
You can see, Bariadin. Is that what we're going with?
Yes.
You can see Bariadin, like arms out, one holding back Drew with the other extended back behind him, cocked into a fist, staring down at her.
I'm rushing over.
Okay.
So is
Drew's
Hannibal.
leaping the table. Drew's leaping the table. She's about to body this bitch.
You are grappled currently by that hand. It is holding you
she's
to the chair.
trying to break it.
Yeah.
Roll another athletics check.
As soon as Hannibal sees that happen to Drew, he's over there in instinct.
Okay.
Poor halfling's performance.
19.
You're still held in place.
Oh, the little bitch.
Do we have a problem here?
I believe we do. Yes, your
Well,
sibling.
not with you, you creepy prick.
Yeah. Just let me at him. Let me at him.
Is everyone in here aware of the penalty in the city for assaulting an ambassador? Because I think it may be actual time in prison.
Sorry, I thought I heard a fart. Let my sister go and we'll go on our way. Won't we, Drew?
Drusilla, Sid has rushed up over near you.
I am putting a hand on both Drew and Hannibal. That is enough. And I'm going to turn to Mr. Fuckface.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he sees you. He sees you, and just hello, Sid Hariel.
I apologize for my siblings' lack of decorum. They will be leaving presently.
No, I won't.
We're leaving now. And Sid's
I
going
mean,
to...
I can't. I'm being held to this chair.
Sid's going to make eye contact with Barry and, like, silently implore him to let Drew go so that he can drag the two of them away.
You can just see the look of relief in his eyes as the hand just releases Drusilla and then moves back, kind of like it's wrapped basically around so that the hand is like between Drusilla and the ambassador.
Okay. I'm going to
his normal arms are just crossed in front of him.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to turn them and start pushing them away. Is Ilvem at a table?
Yes.
To Ilvem, and I'm going to turn back to the both of them. Once again, I apologize and hope you can forgive my siblings for their rash actions, and I hope that you enjoy the performance, Ambassador. And then he turns and leaves.
And Drew turns and she's like...
And grab Drew's head and turn it back around so that he's facing away.
All right. Barriaden's arms like vanish back into his back, and he goes back to standing there. He looks over at Sid, just with a pained expression on his face, and then
Sid meets the pained expression, equally pained.
And Arcaniel just looks forward at the performance, but just reaches up a hand and just pats Barriaden on the shoulder.
Ugh.
And you can see that like everyone in like the back half of the performance hall has like turned in this direction. You can see Mirth like and then at the front of the room there you can hear just like the first note on a lute be played, like a chord is struck. And I need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, I knew it.
Drew, are you okay?
No, I didn't get to fucking punch him.
14.
Okay.
7.
6.
Oof, guys.
24!
Druid.
Okay. Drusilla is the only one who does not find their intention subtly and immediately drawn up on stage.
Oh, my attention was already there. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. It's very subtle. It's very gentle. But and you can see, and Drusilla, you can see like the entire back half of the room, like they were just all looking at a fight and like with an ambassador and everything. Suddenly, oh no, that's not important. Back up to the front of the room.
Yeah, just about to ask Drusilla if she's okay after seeing what happened, and then up at the front.
Yep. And Drusilla, you can see everyone just quiet and enraptured towards the front of the room.
drew his glaring daggers at the ambassador, like, oh, I'm fucking get you, dude.
You can see him looking up at the front, but he breaks eye contact from the front and looks over at you and smiles before looking back. And the performer, the halfling on stage, says, "Good evening, everyone. I have a song, a favorite of mine that I'd like to sing with you. It's a very common one. I think y'all might know it. So sing along on the chorus if you know it." And I actually have this bad boy ready.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh my god, he's gonna sing for us.
Dinner and a show.
Did I? Oh, yes, I said Arcanial. Sorry, Iranian, not Arcanial. I said the wrong name.
You're good. It's okay. I don't know how to pronounce any of them.
Fair. All right. Him. He begins with a few notes on the lute and starts off, and then it starts off like very slow and very ballad-like, and then immediately he stomps his feet 3 times to a much faster beat, and then dives into a much faster jig of a song. And as he begins, people start clapping along to the beat, and starts to get the crowd into it. And he says, "This is a bit of a favorite of mine known as Baron John's Pie. And here we go. Well, the Baron had a visitor, a man of good renown. His wagon broke down on the road on his way out of town. He found the Baron's manor house, he was welcome inside. And when the pie was offered him, he had more than a slice. Such a gracious host is he, bow you down and then you'll see. Stick out your tongue and open wide when you're eating Baron John's pie." The local handsome stable boy was quite the connoisseur. He had his first taste of pie when the Baron came to tour. When the Baron told him that he was of noble birth, he got right down upon. Such a gracious host is he, bow you down and then you'll see. Stick out your tongue and open wide when you're eating Baron John's pie. The pretty duchess in the town was quite the social climber. She conspired to get the Baron into place behind her. The plan was planned, the players placed, went off with just one crack. The duchess was surprised to find she was the one in back. Such a gracious host is he, bow you down and then you'll see. Stick out your tongue and open wide when you're eating Baron John's pie. The Baron held a tournament for knights from all around. He loved to watch them on their horses bouncing up and down. The festival at Tourney's End got a little wild. He had so much pie that day you could see it when he smiled. Such a gracious host is he, bow you down and then you'll see. Stick out your tongue and open wide when you're eating Baron John's pie. Da-na, da-na, da, da-na. And the audience erupts into applause.
That was so
It
good.
was clapping, but still glaring. But she was
Okay,
clapping.
all right. And then he gets up and he bows at the front of the stage and then gets off. And like the lights come up and it's a little bit in between performances. And he makes a beeline back for Ilvem at their table, which is also the rest of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all here now.
Mm-hmm. Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
That was amazing.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sorry, I don't think introductions have been made.
Oh, sorry, of course. Marlos, this is Hannibal, Drusilla, and Sid, my traveling companions. This is a dear friend of mine, Marlos.
Very nice to meet all of you. I was just having a conversation with Ilvem about the importance of history and songs and how we carry them. And that particular song is very historically significant, actually.
Really?
Oh, yes. Despite what you might think. I love the way that history is told and carried through taverns and songs like that. In particular, that one was written by a very talented bard because, well, there was an unmarried duchess in a far-off kingdom who controlled about a quarter of the nation. Very powerful, unmarried woman who needed to pick a husband. Now, a baron is a fairly low-down, not important position in the world, but well, let's just say that when a song about a certain baron's certain preferences surfaced and started making its way around taverns and the countryside and reached the Duchess's ears, and it just so happened to match up with certain preferences of hers, well, long story short, the unmarried Duchess and unmarried Baron were no longer unmarried. Such is the ways that music can shape the course of history.
It's very interesting and a wonderful performance.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Now, I believe it's time I went and got myself a drink. And I've been promised that we're going to hear Ilvem perform at some point tonight as well.
Oh, yeah, I sure am.
I can't wait to hear it.
Okay. Just tell Quinor when you go to get your drink to put it on my tab.
Much appreciated. And he makes his way over to the bar.
Sid's going to gently rub Ilvem's back.
Dang. How am I supposed to go on stage now?
You can do it, trust me.
Ugh.
You'll do fantastic, just like you did last time.
Okay, last time wasn't fantastic, and we both know it. I shouldn't have picked such a sad song.
Speak for yourself. I thoroughly enjoyed your performance, and I thoroughly enjoy every time that you play.
That's sweet.
You'll do fine.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Enhance Ability on
Okay.
myself. So like my halo just kind of like shines a little bit brighter for a second. To give myself advantage on all charisma checks.
Okay. And Mirth is going to come over to you and just say, I'm not entirely sure what just happened. He gestures like in the direction of the ambassador, but like in front of himself so the ambassador can't see that he's doing that. But
yeah.
That
I'm
Drusilla's
glad-
still glaring at.
I'm glad that nothing happened, so we don't have to compromise your lodging situation.
I know, I am so sorry, and I am gonna do everything I can to make it right.
Are you ready to perform?
Yes.
All right. I've cleared a spot for you. You can head up to the stage whenever you're ready.
Great. So I go up to the stage.
Okay.
I'm taking my little flute,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, hi everybody, it's me, Ilvem. I performed a couple nights ago. That was amazing, wasn't it? Woo! Really, really great. Anyways, so we have someone kind of special and important in the crowd tonight. Ambassador, and I'll like bow towards him.
Right.
He smiles and like raises a glass of wine up to you and nods, and then puts it back down.
So I would like to perform this song in honor of him. Let's do it. And then I'm gonna start playing a tune on my flute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna perform a song from the country I was raised in. One of like the ballads of like a mighty hero.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm gonna do.
More of like a classic one, or more of like a politically motivated one, or a recent one?
Just like very like Achilles, you know? Like just like essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like really butter up this ambassador by like dedicating a song of like a powerful figure to him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can think of one. It's a more recent tale, but it's the most heroic figure you can think of, which would be one of the ballads of the Lord Crusader. One of the more potent, powerful figures within recent history. Died at the end of the war 14 years ago, but had a lot of really good songs written about him.
Yeah.
And it's a ballad about this incredibly powerful hero who like achieved incredible things and like tall tales level of hyperbole about him. So go ahead and roll your performance check.
Great. That is such bullshit.
Don't make him even madder.
It's just a 10.
Okay. All right. Not good. Not
was
bad. Middling.
It was almost a 19, but they knocked into each other and it went from a 14 to a 4.
Oof.
Felt bad.
Middling performance. Not bad. You managed to do it justice. The audience is like, okay, all right. They're still riding high off that last one that was also magically enhanced. So by the end of it, applause. The ambassador Idrenian, I'm saying it so I remember his name, like raises his glass and like stands up and applauds for you and then sits back down. Goes pretty well.
Yeah. Okay, thank you all so much. Remember to tip your bartender. Bye. And then I will exit stage left.
Okay.
Pursued by Bear. Oh, just kidding. I wish.
Great way to end a performance.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna go to the bar and send a bottle of wine with a handwritten apology note to the ambassador's table.
How much money do you want to spend on this bottle of wine?
I want their most expensive bottle of wine.
You want their most expensive bottle of wine?
As long as it's not more than 115 gold pieces,
it definitely is more expensive than 115 gold pieces.
I will go up to 115 gold pieces.
All right. There's like one above 115 and 100 below it, so you can spend 100 gold on a bottle of wine.
I will spend 100 gold on a bottle of wine.
Okay. And then they have to like go into the basement and pull one out. It's still very, very, very nice. It's like, beyond that, it starts to go up in like leaps and bounds of value because they keep some very special reserves in the basement. But yeah, you can see they bring it over and like they lean over and whisper to him and point in your direction, and then he smiles and waves at you as they uncork it.
And then I will go and sit with the fam jam.
Okay.
I give everybody 100 gold from the coin purse from the Master Varro job.
Okay.
That puts me back at 115 gold pieces.
Sid's gonna clap for you when you come sit down. See,
Thanks.
what did I say? You did fantastic.
I mean, I definitely was pretty middle of the par. But God, it was just so intimidating going up there after Marlowe's. Oh well, the ambassador liked it, so.
Good for him. She was like spinning the knife that she stole from the table and just like, good for him.
Hannibal's just like thumbing the wand.
Behave, you two. I really appreciate you willing to fight him for me, but he's an ambassador. He's practically untouchable.
Then we find dirt on him.
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
Oh my God, Sid! I just had an idea. I could disguise myself as him and make dirt on him.
That literally never goes well.
It went well when he pretended to be Girk.
Yes.
It went well one time.
You haven't been around for the entirety.
Yeah.
Listen,
It
all
went
I'm
well
gonna
when
say,
he pretended to be the bank dude.
Yes, and when I pretended to be Ilvem.
It went terribly when you tried to pretend to be me. Anyways, all I'm saying is that there's a very specific way that you go about dealing with strong political figures. And the little show you two put on today was not it.
That's how we deal with things in the forest.
This isn't the forest, Drew.
Technically, it
Then
is.
we
It's-
take him
it's-
to the forest.
It's the concrete jungle.
Listen, all I'm saying is that these could have very serious and negative effects on Sid, and Sid specifically, as the person of contact between that ambassador and our group. Do you get it? Do you get that you could have gotten Sid seriously hurt?
Wasn't gonna let Sid get hurt.
Thing about people like him is that they never do their own dirty work. It's exceptionally rare. And there are other ways to destroy me than simply ending my life. He could have gone after my family. He probably still might, knowing him, but again, I appreciate that you're willing to fight for me. Few people in my life have wanted to do that, but I think from now on, I would like to handle this matter myself.
Yeah, fat luck with that, Sid.
I'll respect that.
You're not alone. But I won't try to stab him anymore.
At least for now. Maybe wait until we get him into an alley or something, but
So that's what I'm saying. But yes,
I could get him into an alley.
so could
What's
I.
his favorite animal?
What's his favorite looking person? What's he attracted to?
himself, as far as I know. But
Easy.
I appreciate all of you. And I appreciate what you're willing to do for me. But this could have gone and very likely will go very south very quickly. Thank you, Ilvem, for really just kissing his ass. Like, honestly, that was quite spectacular.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're raised like this, you're raised like this, you know?
Yeah, I know.
We shouldn't have to kiss the asses of people who treat us like shit.
And yet... Anyways, I don't know what this guy did or why you're all so angry, but I'm down to take him down, but as long as we go the right way about it.
Play the game or you lose, so to speak. Either way, we're in it now.
It'll be fine. I always play to win.
Don't I know that? And Sid's going to sort of move aside some of the bandages so that Ilvem can see part of the scar more. Remember the story I told you?
Oh, the secret for secrets.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Noted. Should we do the bone grinder again? Or, like, am I crazy?
I'm not entirely against that idea, but I think for tonight,
We could
I
get
want-
him to do the bone grinder.
he would never do the bone
He
grinder.
seems like the type who doesn't engage in that sort
Exactly.
of thing.
Which means we get him in there, he's not gonna come out.
I feel like there's a lot of information missing between point A and point B
And
for
I
you.
and I feel like his little bodyguard would go with him, and I don't have any ill will on that bodyguard.
Oh, speaking of that bodyguard,
Yes, speaking
Um,
of that bodyguard.
Fuck.
Sid, I think that bodyguard loves you.
Yeah, like he was really concerned every time I mentioned you getting hurt when I was telling them the story of how he broke out of prison.
Like it every time Drew mentioned you being in even like the slightest amount of danger, he looked like he was in physical pain about it.
Oh, is that
What's
the
going
one?
on with that?
That's the one we're talking about?
Which one you're talking about?
Oh, sorry. Secrets.
Hey Hannibal, you want to play the game of secrets?
No, me and Sid have special secrets, so we tell each other when we're alone.
Is that like your brother, like your dad, or
Was my guide at the monastery.
Did you guide
And-
each other into things? What? I'm just asking a question.
You're not wrong.
Why is everybody laughing?
Before I was taken to the Enclave, there was a chance that we could have been something more.
Oh.
like what?
Ear.
I care very deeply for him.
Is that why you were such an insufferable bitch at the Enclave? Because like you were a genuinely mean person.
Yes. It's no secret I did not want to be there. I resented being there. I was quite literally stolen from my home.
That
See?
sucks. I mean, I was personally pretty thrilled when they showed up to take me.
At the talk of like family and homes and whatnot,
Mhm.
Hannibal's just gonna leave and go upstairs.
Hannibal, are you alright?
Oh, I'm fine. I need to go to sleep.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Just about when Hannibal leaves, by the way, Marlos passes by the table, and he goes over. He leans down to Ilvem, and just kind of he like leans, like puts a hand on one shoulder and leans into your other ear and says, "That was some fine work in song choice there. Very, very diplomatic, very tactful. Impressive.
Thank you.
Good work."
I mean, it was nowhere near your caliber, but you know, one day.
I have no doubt about it. One day. I'm going to stick around in the city for a bit. If you have any questions, anything you wish to speak about, I'm very interested in your progress.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Now, this old man is going to head up to bed, so good night, everyone. Enjoy your evening.
Good night.
Night.
Hi.
And yeah, looking over, you can see that Idrenian is like corking back up the bottle and hands it up to Buridan, who like hangs onto it, and the two of them stand up. He like stands up, and then Buridan sets down the bottle and like picks up a cloak from like the back of his chair and like drapes it over his shoulders. And then the two of them start to leave, and as they do, Idrenian just looks over at your table and just gives you one of these before he leaves.
I'll wave
Just wanna
back
give him one of these.
enthusiastically. And then also raise my hand to cover the finger.
He just
The-
smiles and leaves.
Okay.
Quick,
With
get him
a-
into an alley.
With a last lingering like, on the way out the door, because Buridan is the last one to leave. Once Idrenian is out the door, he like turns around one last look back at Sid, and then out the door.
Sid's gonna send a message to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
You get one back this time. I am too.
That shit hurted.
Say psych right now. Oh.
We're fine. Everything's fine. Why wouldn't everything be fine? Sid's gonna go get a drink from the
Okay.
bar.
All right. And with Sid going and getting a drink, Hannibal going upstairs, and Ilvem and Drusilla sitting in the performance room as the night comes to a close, that's where we're going to end it for the week.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Well, thank you for joining us, chat. That was a fun episode.
Ooh.
Oh boy. That could have went so bad.
It really could have.
Yeah. It
I was
could've-
ready for those consequences.
I was ready to stay at my table while you dealt with those consequences.
He's an
Sounds about right.
ambassador.
Don't fucking
He
care.
can put you away for life.
We've broken out of a prison before.
Not a real one.
Drew doesn't know that. Nor does she care. Wait, Drew can have her trial with Caroline.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
Oh,
Well,
man.
Thank you for joining us, chat. And
Yeah.
of course, all my
Thank
lovely
you,
players.
chat.
Thank you, chat.
We love you, Chad.
We'll see you again next week for the continuation of this.
Yes.
I'm having fun. Is everyone having fun? I'm
Yes.
I'm having a great time, and now I have to go make a character for Descent into Avernus
That's
because I
right.
forgot to do that all week.
That's right.
having
Excellent.
fantastic.
Speaking of Descent into Avernus, 10:30 p.m. tonight, guys. We'll be back with that. The pickup after 2 people died.
Fun.
Ooh.
All right. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'll see you all next week.